What's up, everybody? We are live for Curse of Strahd, a session 21, I hope. I'm slowly starting to lose count, but I think that's where we're at. And what we're going to do is, last time we left off, the adventurers, the group, actually came face to face with Strahd and their dead ally, Alton, who has been brought back by some nefarious means. But we're going to actually bounce out of that scene over to a kind of structure on this hillside. It swings, it winds, there's a path that leads up to it that winds up a mountainside. And this building that we come across looks like snow has just started to fall. It's like the beginning of winter. And as you get to the top of this mountain that climbs up, looking over this small little city, we see a building completely surrounded by walls and gates, and there's these two main kind of parts of this building. And as we kind of zoom in on that, we see a girl sitting in a room with a row of bunk beds. Most of the beds have disintegrated with age and lie in heap, but one of the moldy beds that still kind of stand intact, she has a nightstand near, and there's a candle. She kind of gets up and starts walking around the room. And this woman, I'm actually just going to show the token, looks kind of like that. Dark hair. She's wearing this kind of red tunic, I guess we'll call it. And she's walking around the room and looks visibly distraught. Finally, after pacing a bit, she goes and sits down at a table, and she reaches under and pulls out a drawer where there's this old deck of cards. And if the group were there to see it, they would recognize it as the same deck that Madame Ava used, a Taraka deck. She starts to shuffle these cards, and as she's doing so, you can see her hands actually visibly shaking, and she starts to line them up and starts flipping them over. And as she does so, she's just looking at these cards intently, like trying to get some kind of advice or some kind of hint from them. And as she's looking at them and kind of flipping them over one by one comes out with the card of death. And she looks absolutely terrified by this. And as she's taking it in, her eyes actually roll back in her head, and she gets like almost like pushed against the chair. And then you hear her kind of in a low breath say, "Brother, is that you?" To which nobody replies. And then she says, "You must follow my voice, brother. Come to me. Come to the Abbey. Hurry." And then flips out of it and kind of deeply exhaling. She has her hands on the table, and she looks like she just went through a tremendous amount of like physical activity in some way. She's sweating and deeply breathing. And then she just looks at the card of death and stares at it, visibly shaken. Now we will bounce back over to the river scene, where Strahd has just laid down some serious stinging insults towards the group, basically saying stuff along the lines of Dragard losing all of his friends, or his friends abandoning him. Gaia kind of being like a moth drawn to light. She doesn't really know if she believes in her god, he kind of insinuated, and that she actually just likes to destroy things, including her own friends, if they happen to get in the way. He says to Dirge that her ambitions of bringing happiness is futile, as the kids that she brought a moment of happiness to were quickly slain thereafter. He looks there across this river that's kind of slowly running down, almost gently. It's a serene kind of almost tranquility or calmness as the mist surrounds you guys. And then bursting out of the woods are these swarms of bats, which are quickly descending upon you. And that's where we'll start the encounter. Unless anybody has anything to say really quick, as Strahd is chirping the heck out of you guys.
I'm trying to remember if I cast a buff spell before last session.
I don't think you got to. I think you wanted to, but then the bats kind of bursted out.
Okay.
So, Strahd, luckily for you guys, rolled really high on his initiative. What he does is actually, he's not on his horse. The token shows him on his horse, but that's the only one I had. He has a sword kind of sheathed in this dark black kind of wooden sheath, I guess, and he pulls it out. And you all, or most of you, I believe, would instantly recognize it as a sword that he took from one of your dead comrades, Val, the rogue, who had this apparent magical sword. And as he pulls it out, you instantly recognize it because you see that it glows this kind of amber red and has dark ridges around it where the blade part is. The middle of the blade glows this bright red as he pulls it out. And as Dirge is sitting there with her sword, you see the sun sword momentarily flicker. And then he says, I'm in quite a predicament, you see. Me and Arena, we're getting married. Our love cannot be denied. And Ishmark visibly like winces at this, like he's just ready to jump across this river and start laying into Strahd, whether you guys help him or not. And then he pulls out these papers, these invites, and he says, unfortunately, there's just not enough for everybody. So unfortunately, we're going to have to cut the invite list a little bit. And that's what we brought Alton here for. And then with that, he will actually... The first thing you're going to want to do, Mrs. Dirge, is make a... What is it? Contested will save right now.
All right. All right. Allow me to just brood over my impending failure to roll a dice. Wisdom?
Yes. He pulls out the sword, and the darkness kind of gets sucked in as the black ridges around the blade actually close, and then from around him forms this darkness that zooms out and completely kind of covers him and Alton. But the other thing that happens as you hold up your sun sword is the light completely goes out. It will stay out until the end of his next turn. The next thing he's going to do is approach the riverbed and look at you, Dirge, and you're going to have to make a wisdom save again.
I can't possibly roll 4 twice in a row.
You wouldn't
Actually,
think,
three
right?
times. Well, not 3 times in a row anyway. Let's go. There we go. 23.
He looks you dead in the eyes, and you see him trying to seduce or charm you, like you've seen him do to Gaia. But this time, you are ready for it, and you do not fall for his incantation as he tells you to come to him, that you have so much to talk about, and he will show you true happiness, like you yearn for if you just merely cross the stream and come to him. But you know better than that, and luckily for you, you do not fall for such tricks. He will at that point stand by the river, kind of back up a bit, put himself at distance and say, well, we asked them nicely, I suppose, Alton. Do you mind going in and taking care of this for me? And then with that, that will end his turn, and the first of the bat swarms will descend upon you, going for you, Dirge, and they're going to try to bite. As you're just completely encumbered by these bats, hundreds of them, they start descending upon you and batting. You bat them away, and for the most part, their teeth shink off your armor and don't penetrate, and you're able to not take any serious damage as you're completely engulfed by these bat swarms, which now puts Gaia up for action.
Excellent. She will take a step forward into this. If I can actually move her, come on, Mary, into the river just to get within range because Strahd is there-ish, right?
Yeah, he's exactly where I just moved him to. Sorry, I didn't mean to move him into the fog of war.
Yeah, let's see. Just a moment. Yep, I gotta take one step forward. All right. Yeah, and as she takes a step forward, she's just yelling after, like, stop, Zeth! And she's holding up the amulets of hers that she'd gotten from the temple, and she is going to force him to stun. Hopefully, if he has to do a vampires within 30 feet must make a DC 15 wisdom save. On a failed throw, it's paralyzed for 1 minute.
Now you pull that out, and you remember very clearly that Rion, sorry, identified it and told you exactly what you do. And as you confidently step inside the river and you pull this amulet out, which has the sun kind of ringed around it and this golden edging, you pull it out and it momentarily bursts into like a light and starts to glow. And then as you hold it in front of him, it flickers out like a flashlight, like it did again, like it did before when you pulled it out. I think during the Candelab fight.
Yeah.
He laughs and says, "It seems that your little toy is broken. You should be much more careful with your possessions, Gaia."
And in a heap of frustration, she will walk back a little ways and with her...
Just kidding.
Kind of. Well, let's try this again. Alright, so that is my attack on my, her offhand. So that's less than...
All right, so it was, what was it? Sorry?
So she'll step back with just her bonus action to do a quick attack with her offhand. And so it would be like 20 to hit, I believe.
Oh, yeah, definitely hit.
So,
and how much damage?
7.
7 damage into the bat swarm that is attacking Dirge?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You run in and you start cutting these bats down and like with your sword just cutting through them, hitting them like little pinatas to the ground. A bunch of them are instantly kind of killed as you're just swiping furiously. Next up, we have Elton. And he's going to have some fun. As you see him do an incantation, he casts a spell on himself where upon doing so, looks like he starts to almost move incredibly fast. Almost as like his hands move and he pulls out both of his swords. It's like you lose track of where his hands go and they blur. And as he kind of finesse, like spins them around and shows his expertise with them, you can literally not even track the swords with your own eyes, at which point he will move forward. And he's going to attack you, Gaia. The first strike, did I roll it, or is a 23 to hit? Obviously hits. He does. Whew.
At which point, Dragar will step forward and hopefully leap in front of Gaia to take Alton's first blow.
Unfortunately, Dragar is not within 5 feet.
Damn it!
You're super far away.
But I want to jump. Just kidding.
I don't care about initiative.
No, I don't care what dick.
22 damage, Gaia.
Oh my Buddha. Is that one hit?
Yes. He swings again with a furious strike, this time doing a 15 to hit, which I believe misses.
Juicing over there.
Yes.
And then normally you would suspect that he wouldn't be able to... Actually, I lied. He's going to swing again, which would normally end his action and then therefore miss. But since he seems to be moving so incredibly fast in this 6 seconds, he takes another action.
Oh, snaps.
Which will be 2 17s and a 20.
AC is 17 for Gaia, so.
I believe that gets through then.
Alton, I loved you. Why did you do this to me?
Steps up to you with no emotion in his face. His eyes are dark and sunken in. And as he starts attacking you and you're doing everything you can to hold him back and just pleading for him not to attack you, he just mercilessly strikes you down again and again. This time hitting you for the first strike that got through is a total of 18 damage.
Okay.
And then the second strike to get through is 16 damage.
If that's haste, it just gives you 1 extra attack. It doesn't give you like 3.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh no, you're dead.
I know. I'm like, and number 3, come on, bring it.
And then the last one is only 11, as you rolled really terribly.
Oh, that's enough to take her down. The guy is just like surprised that she's like backstabbed literally. I'm just going to focus on these bats and just falls to the ground.
Instantly taken down. All right. Rion, we talked before this game started, and we know what happened to you. Dirge, as you're communicating with Gypsy and telling her whatever to like stay away, keep Rion away, you swear momentarily that you hear Rion's voice, kind of like a radio transmission coming through and then chopping out, and you just kind of shrug it off as maybe the fight is getting to you. But then you telepathically sense that Gypsy is no longer heading away and heading straight for you. Rion, in the spirit world, you see this kind of grayed out version of where the party currently stands. The shadows are much more intent, and it's incredibly hard to see anything as you look around for any kind of glimmer of where your party can be. You hear the cry out of Gaia as she is stricken down by what you could only assume to be. You hear Alton saying that he doesn't want to do it, and then at that you see a light that seems like kind of like a flashlight, and then a shadow around it. And then you also faintly see a couple other lights, as it does seem like people are engaged in some kind of combat on the other side of the world, or realm, sorry.
Okay.
Do you remember what we discussed?
Yes, I will head towards that direction, of course, or try to convince Gypsy, because I'm still not sure if she's still listening to me or if she's listening to Dirge at this point.
For this moment in time, she is heading right towards you guys, and you probably, I'm just going to, for the heck of it, say get pretty quickly to where they are, and you're within movement from the party.
Yeah, I mean, Gypsy has 6 intelligence, so she's definitely not stupid.
Yeah.
Do you want to say next turn then I'll be in, like, next round I'll be able to...
No, I'm fine with you being close enough.
Okay. So, however far away I need to be, I will like to do what we discussed about Ishmark. As I look towards him and I see the entire party, but they look a bit grayed out, kind of like in the rest of the shadowy world that I'm in the spirit realm. But Ishmark, no, is it Ishmark? No, Kashmir, sorry, I'm mixing the names up. Kashmir has a little bit more of a glow, like he looks a little bit brighter, and I'm gonna kind of head towards him.
And as you do, you actually can momentarily like see almost like a rip through the worlds, and you actually see Kashmir's face as you're like standing in front of him. You turn back and you see your friends in battle. You see Gaia getting stricken down, and you don't really understand what's happening, but you just get this sense to like just fly right into Kashmir. And as you do, Kashmir's body would start to contort and look like he's basically shocked by something. And then you hear him momentarily say, like, what the hell's and then he's cut off. And Rion, whatever you then say will still sound exactly like Kashmir, but for the moment you have the control of him. And you should have control of his character sheet too if you want to take a peek at that.
Okay, let me test and see.
And then I should have told you that before we started, but
yeah, I have access to it. But I think seeing how Gaia has fallen, what Rion would do is say no, Gaia, and reach out his hands and try to heal her with healing word.
Okay.
Now that's my own spell.
Yes.
How do you want this to work?
You're gonna have to do a check to see, because technically you're still in. You still technically have Kashmir's. Basically, you have his modifiers now whenever you do stuff, but you still know you still have your memory, so you can do the incantation and just do a basic Arcana check, and you should be able to get away with casting it.
Oh, lovely! My best skill, Arcana.
Or what is a bard is charisma?
Yeah, it's charisma. I rolled a 5.
All right. That, unfortunately, is not quite good enough, but you don't lose your action nonetheless.
Okay.
So if you wanted to do something else, you basically like instinctively go to cast Healing Ward, which you would normally do, but you realize that Kashmir isn't trained in that, and you actively feel him fighting back, and you hear him like calling out like who's in here, like what's going on, get out of my head, and then you can continue to.
Yeah, I would just respond to him. I will talk to you in a minute. Of course, this is the conversation going in his head. It's my voice in his head. So,
Absolutely.
Well, I just been thrown this character sheet, so it's like I'm quickly going over the spells. So I still have all my actions, correct?
Yeah, you can still do your stuff, although he doesn't have a crossbow on him, unfortunately.
Okay. Then in that case, I'm going to do Misty Step right next to Gaia, and then try it again. But this time, instead of doing the bonus action to Healing Word, I'm actually lay the hands on her and do Curing Wounds, or Cure Wounds, maybe at a direct contact with her.
No, I'm pretty sure that since you casted Misty Step, that you're not able to cast another spell that turn.
Yes, you are correct.
So yeah, you have your quarterstaff now, and when you Misty Step into Alton, you hear Kashmir say like, "What the hell are you doing? We can't get this close to him. He's way more talented than us. He's way more skilled fighter." And then you're just there, and you realize like you go to cast that, and you don't have the energy to do it, and then you go to like hit Alton, and you realize that all you have is a quarterstaff in your hand. So you got that going for you.
You can cast a cantrip if you use a bonus action.
That's true. You can't cast a cantrip.
That's true. I wouldn't go against Alton. I would target the bat down here.
Okay.
To maybe hopefully free up Dirge.
Yep.
And Kashmir is literally just gonna kind of put both of his hands into the swarm of bats and just firebolt, hopefully to hit as many as he can.
All right. Yeah, I should have told you you're taking control of the character sheet, but it almost kind of works better as now you don't really have time to prepare for it, so it's going to be awkward for you.
What the hell do I do? I don't know. But all right, so and it would be 13 damage if it hits the swarm.
Okay, and yeah, that definitely hits. As soon as I can pull up the token, but while I'm trying to do that, I'll let Dragar go. As you see Kashmir like basically talking to himself, and then all of a sudden Misty stepping in uncharacteristically right in front of Alton and the bats and firebolt.
Yeah, Drager would watch as he was getting ready to swing at some bats. Drager would watch Gaia go down with Alton's fury of blows, and then uncharacteristically, like you said, just watching Kashmir jump into the battle. Drager he'd be paying more attention to Alton. After he saw Gaia go down, he would just get this red face about him, and he would yell to Alton, "Dragar asks why, Alton? If there must be nothing left in you." And Dragar would immediately rage out and run at Alton, trying to grapple with him and knock him back and tackle him into the river.
Okay, now that is cool, and I think it's totally what Dragar would do, but if you do that, you're at least taking 2 opportunity attacks from the bats. Are you okay with that?
Dirge will block the first one.
Thank you. But yeah, let's do it.
Kashmir will give Dragar a thumbs up as he runs by.
The AC is 19 or 17?
17.
So the first attack gets through. The bats.
That was with disadvantage?
Yes. Crit and an 18.
Okay, well at least I stopped the crit.
Yeah.
And that is, why is it saying that? That seems a bit weird. Oh, it's acting.
Are each of these bat swarms 2 bats?
No, it's probably more like 20 bats to a point where when the bats get in front of you, it actually starts to block your vision and become slightly obscured. Yeah.
Okay.
9 damage to you, Dragar, and then the second one. Why don't I get a second attack? Does your Dirge do something to stop that, or?
No, I was just curious.
No, Dirge posed a disadvantage on the first attack, and then Rion gave me the good old thumbs up. Kashmir.
I thought Dirge said that I don't get the second attack, so I thought.
No. I was just asking. In my brain, I forgot the bat right in front of me is
Mhm.
way closer to him than.
The second one misses as it's too engaged with Dirge. You just see them kind of swatting away, and I just picture Dragar like running through, putting his hands on his head, and just raging out and yelling right towards Alton, which you definitely do.
And then, yeah, I'd like to take him down and wrestle him into the river.
Give a strength.
26.
Oh god, he's totally getting tackled.
He's gonna take a swim.
And then Dragar's just like, as he's grabbing him and hopefully taking him down, he's just, Alton, why?
So you technically can't like charge him, take him down, and like be on top of him at the same time. But what I'm gonna say is that you barrel into him, you come out of this horde of bats, and you just like a quarterback or like a linebacker, just or whatever the equivalent of that football term is, just sack him right into the water. You both fall in and kind of start tumbling around, and your grip kind of loosens up on him, and then he is backed up and you're backed up, and you're both kind of in this awkward situation. And as you're asking him why, he just doesn't ask. All he does, or he doesn't respond. All he does is smirk.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Perfect.
And then
Do I have any? I don't have any actions after that,
your
right?
bonus
That's
action to rage, and your regular action was
Yeah, perfect. And I moved, so yeah, we're good.
I'll give you inspiration for that, though. That's kind of cool. I like that. Bat Swarm number 2 is going to isolate, or not isolate, but god damn it. Sorry. Go after Dirge. And now as you look over to Dirge, it just literally looks like a wall of bats has surrounded her, as you can not make her out whatsoever. And as long as I don't have disadvantage on you, I just rolled another crit.
All right.
And that is a total of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 piercing damage as the bats all, now that you're pretty much obscured, start to lay into you heavily.
Okay.
Kashmir is now up, and what he's going to try to do is he's just like, what are you doing, you idiot? You're going to get us killed, or me. And he is going to try to wisdom save and just push you right out. And I should have had his sheet up, but he is going to try to do that.
Do you want me to go ahead and roll it since I have it up? And also my response to that is, death isn't so bad.
Yeah, I got it up. So it's going to be a wisdom contest between you and Rion.
Okay.
And he rolled I'll just roll it straight up so you guys can see it. A 5.
Okay.
He's not very wise.
I have hope. Normal roll.
Oh my god.
Really?
You get pushed out, and with that, as you go back into the spirit realm, you see Alton in this realm, and you actually hear him yelling out in agonizing pain as he's just like, looks like he's being tortured, but nothing is around him. And you just see him like sitting in the river screaming, and he's just like, make it stop it. And he's just yelling like he's being absolutely tortured. Nonetheless, though, Kashmir will then, I'll let you control Kashmir, but basically just try to think of now Kashmir is back to being Kashmir.
Okay, so run away. I'm guessing like this is somewhat of a little bit of a hilly.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it'd actually be like a
try
climb check, like an athletics check to actually climb up it.
Okay, then never mind. He doesn't have any way to heal, so he will actually go this way then. And
Still cast like a cantrip.
Guy is already dead. No. I will do how are the bat like, because I've hit them once and
There's still a lot
I
of them.
think that was it.
There's still a
Okay.
whole whack load of them.
Yeah, I guess I'll just do firebolt into the same group
Okay.
again.
Go ahead. Shoot that off. That manages to miss as it just kind of like shoots through the crowd of bats and they momentarily disperse around. Next up is the last bats, which will then again go on to Dirge, completely blocking out any vision that she has. She is essentially blinded now by these bats. And this time they do not strike her unless I have advantage against a blinded target, which I believe I actually might.
Do they actually have like the blind ability?
Yeah.
Is there like a save or something against that?
Your save is get out of the swarm of bats.
So they're in my square?
They're around you. It's heavily obscuring you. So yeah, that doesn't give you advantage. Sorry, that doesn't give them advantage. You just have disadvantage on your attacks. It misses, and you're up.
All right, Dirge kind of just sees herself just swarmed by bats, and there's part of her that thinks to waver, but to be swarmed and killed by these bats would just not be in the least bit heroic. And she says, kind of in a labored voice, I Goddess Lyra, I know that this request is strange, but please bathe me in your holy lights. And you see her kind of make a hand motion, and she casts her spell upon herself, Moonbeam, targeting herself and all the bats around her.
Okay.
So everybody there. Doesn't hit Gaia, but it hits all the bats.
Wisdom save?
Con save.
Con save. That's not very constitutional. They all definitely fail unless your DC is for some reason 12 or under.
No, her DC is thick. And fuck, that's not one of her good saves, but we'll see. Yeah, Dirge gets blasted too. I believe the spell does 2d10 radiant damage to everything there. Yeah. So let's not roll shit. 2d10. So Dirge and all those bats take 10 damage.
Gross.
But as she's bathed in this radiant light, you see the runes on her body. You kind of almost see them spread up her armor just for the briefest moment, flashing on her skin with this black ink almost as she resists half that damage.
Very cool. This token's not working for me, so I have to just try dragging it in again and see if that will fix it. Which
Okay.
it does.
That's 30 damage, not too bad.
Yeah, so the bat swarm immediately in front of you looks pretty much all but thinned out, but the other ones, at least half of them are still survived. It frees up your vision to slightly obscured, and you can actually see in front of you that guy is still downed. Kashmir is like, you don't know what the hell is going on with him. He charged in the battle, and then he ran out. Next up is Ishmark, and he's going to actually need a wisdom save. I'll let you do it if you have it in front of you.
Sure, I can roll it.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Ishmark. Wisdom save?
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
Because if you don't roll higher than 13, he is going to do everything he can to fight Strahd.
He got a 15 on the wisdom save.
Nice. Then he is good.
All right, you'll just see him swing around and just take a swipe at the badly beaten bats, trying to finish them off if you can.
Yep.
Try to just dump them out of combat. You see him make a longsword attack. Does a 12 hit the bats?
Definitely does, and that finishes off the first horde as he just kind of like skewers them all like a bat kebab.
Okay. And then as he does so, he kind of turns his gaze down and aims at the second set, the second longsword swipe, which does 9 damage. And then he, with his third attack, does a short sword swipe for 5 more damage. As you basically just see him just windmill attack these bats, just splattering them all over the place as he tries to get them off Dirge.
And he does a pretty adequate job at this, as finally he's able to attack something that doesn't resist every single thing he does.
First time for everything. And you said the way his ability works, I can pick one person and give them inspiration?
Yes.
Okay. On what?
On
Is
everything.
it like... Okay, and they get to pick that whenever, or...
No, you're just like, let me reread it, but I'm pretty sure it's permanent inspiration as long as you're fighting Strahd. And it might just
Okay.
be against Strahd, but let me just double check really quick. I don't know why I didn't read that further. Within sight of Strahd, this character is granted inspiration to one player. So yeah, it is just inspiration, sorry. You're right.
Okay. Well, he would with his just fierce fighting prowess, Dirge would be inspired, kind of stealing her resolve a bit, as she feels like even though this is grim and dark, that they have a chance. She's not going to use it immediately, but she'll hold on to that.
Perfect.
Back to the top of the order here.
Strahd is now up, and
Actually, he would give that to Dragar.
give it to Dragar.
Yeah, Dirge is already inspired.
Okay.
Drager already has inspiration. Does it stack for the battle and then go away after battle?
No.
Okay.
All right, well, I guess he won't use it then, since we're all super inspired. He can't inspire Gaia since she's kind of on the ground drooling.
Yes, he's not feeling very inspired at all.
I'm not dead yet, though.
Gone.
What happened to
We've already
Gaia?
put her in the coffin.
I couldn't see anything for a minute, and now she's gone. This is bothersome.
Dirge, give me a wisdom save again.
Sure. I can take a wisdom save. Wisdom save.
Very nice. He tries to charm you again. This time you're easily able to resist. So I don't know why I keep accidentally clicking him. From there, he just kind of walks up to the river and then just stands there and just looks at you guys with pretty much no regard. At that point, he is going to do this. He raises his hands and he says, "Come to me, my children." And as he does that, you hear squawking in the distance, and suddenly appearing through the sky, blacking out the day, is 5 more swarms of bats. Da-da-da. And he is just going to stay content on this side of the river, waiting for you guys to figure out your stuff. Gaia, unfortunately, makes her first death save. And you're on mute if you're trying to
Yay,
speak.
she passes.
Got one in the hole, or not in the hole. I have one towards life. Yes.
Nice. You're living. First, I will resolve Alton, who is going to attack you, Dragar, but not before casting another spell on himself. Let me just make sure that I'm correct in saying that. Yes. One last try. And I just need to make sure that it's not concentration, which it's not. So you see him basically do an incantation and nothing seems to happen, at which point he will then lunge forth, and as he stands up, Dragar, and you're in front of him and you're just yelling at him to like stop, like what the hell you're doing, he just with no emotion stands up in the water, picks up both of his swords, and then charges at you. 22 on the first hit.
Fucking Drager takes it right off the head and just says, "Bring it." Drager says, "Bring it, motherfucker."
23 damage. Slashing,
Okay.
so you negated it since you're raised. Second strike is a miss. Third strike, also a miss.
The Draggers just keeps taking the blows off the head. Even though they're misses, they're glancing off the big dragon skull. The first one crushes into the dragon skull and hurts Dragger. But he's just like screaming at Alden at this point. Dragger says, "Why? Why?"
And as you're doing that, and you're just like basically opening yourself up in no regard, he lands a crit which does. I'm just rolling literally the most ridiculous amount of crits. You guys don't even understand. 24 plus 33, 37 damage.
I take half of that.
Yeah.
It's 18 damage. Resisted. Jesus Christ.
I'm good. I'm fucking kicking ass, man.
And he just like, you're just saying like, why are you doing this? And then just with all of his might, no emotion, no regard for any friendship that you had, just cuts right across you, gashing you open.
Dragar takes the blow, and blood starts seeping down. Dragar doesn't even phase. He just looks at him like, since there's nothing left, Dragar will kill you.
Then we will do this, and let's see. It does. As you say that and you ready yourself to attack, Alton flashes away, completely disappearing right in front of you.
Bitch.
Rion, you see Alton just screaming and crying, and you hear him yelling, "No, not Dragar. Leave him alone." And then all of a sudden, he just completely freezes, is standing there, ice still. And then he stands up and looks cold, calm, calculating, like a murderer. And he starts to just walk around, seemingly in your realm, and just positioning himself. What do you do?
Okay. I would like to actually take a look on him to see if I find anything binding Alton's spirit to the creature, that's in the normal realm, I guess.
Which, just
You know
to
what I mean?
clarify, is no longer in the normal realm. Basically, what happened is whatever
Yes.
was. Yeah, okay.
He's in the spirit realm.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and get check.
I
I
got
just
you.
wanted to make sure you're understanding.
Okay, so
And,
do you want me to do a perception check?
You do
or-
whatever you want to do, and tell me what you do, and I'll tell you what you see.
Okay. Basically, I'm looking to see if Alton's spirit is bound to the creature, which is, of course, now in the spirit realm, but like bound to the creature in any way that's like torturing him, or if there's some way or some object that I can mess with to free his soul.
Okay.
Basically.
Go ahead and check.
So, not persuasion, perception. There we go. 24.
24. He doesn't actually even seem to notice you yet, as you're in much more of an ethereal state. I think that's the correct word. Just kind of like a spirit. He doesn't even seem to even notice that you're there. And as you're able to like kind of get a good look at him, you see that most of his body has like stitchings marks through it, like where he was originally cut. He was stitched back together. You also see, with that perception, what looks like almost a tattoo on the back of his neck. It kind of looks. I'm trying to actually. It looks like a raven, but with a skull instead of an actual raven's head, kind of etched very finely into the back of his neck.
Okay.
Other than that,
never
though,
really.
you don't know if Alton actually had tattoos before, or
We never really discussed it before, but can I cast spells in the spirit realm?
no.
Okay, that's what
You're pretty much useless in the spirit realm unless you have like some great emotional surge which lets you push through into the real realm. Although if you want to, spells won't work, but if you want to try something else, I'm game for giving it a shot.
Well, the idea that I have, I kind of need to spell.
Okay.
Or, to attempt. So I'm going to possess Kashmir again.
All right, you do so freely, and he's just like, you hear him like getting mad, like, what the hell? I just sent you out. Why are you invading my mind? And then go ahead.
And I'm going to respond to him. It's the only way I can help. Because technically we're getting 2 turns. We have 2 initiative slots, so we get to do 2 different things. No, I'm not going into that. But
It's only a lot meta.
Possessing him, I'm going to kind of force his hand up and point at where the I'm trying to remember, Alton creature is now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I saw him in the spirit realm move to where he is. And then I'm going to try to cast Dispel Magic. So I need to do another Arcana check.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah, I believe it's you. I can never remember this. This is the one thing that always evades me, whether it's me that has to do it.
Okay. Well, it's fine. I keep messing it up, so
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. So
So you and Kashmir are definitely not the greatest of teams sharing his body, and he's just like causing too much mayhem for you to actually read his thoughts and cast a spell effectively.
well, okay. Since I tried to do Dispel Magic, I'm going to turn around and saying to Kashmir, fine, let's do something and cast Detect Magic.
Okay. With that, you just sense that there is whatever the equivalent of.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. And of course, I know everyone else is glowing with magical items.
You sense transmutation from where Alton is.
Okay.
But you do not see him. All right.
And sadly, that will be the end of my turn.
Dragar, you're back up. And as you look around, Alton just cuts you down and just like messed you up pretty hard and then flashes away, gone. You have no clue where he is. You see Strahd in front of you, and he actually smiles and says, "See how much your beloved friends love you, Dragar, or care for you? They know better now. Alton knows that if he stays with you, he would just die." You're up.
Yeah, I know I'm here. I'm just trying to process the emotion Drager would be having right now. Trying to stay in character because I'm pissed. See, Drager would just be basically like so angry that tears would basically just start rolling down his face, and he would just look up to Strahd, and he would look back to Guy laying on the ground, and to Dirge and to the oncoming bats, and he would look to Strahd, and Draggar says, "I might be pissed off at you, but the only way we'll ever win is as a team." And he will turn back, and he will start walking back towards the group to protect the group from the next onslaught of bats. And while Drager stands here, he will take a slash at the bats if he can. Do I make it back to the group? Is Strahd going to allow me to do that?
Oh yeah, it's your turn, so you can definitely do that. That definitely hits, and with the remaining HP, you're able to easily slay that remaining horde of bats.
Okay, and he'll just basically, to finish his turn, he'll look to Dirge and smile, and he'll look back at Strahd, and the rage will not leave Drager's body, but he's ready to go, but he's ready to go as a team.
Absolutely. And just give me a couple seconds, because these bats will basically... They will go after the start of the new round. So I just got to get them in the initiative. And remember that we are at Kashmir regularly. So descending and then go back down to Kashmir. Since that bat above him was dead, what does Kashmir do?
First, he's got to do a wisdom roll off against me.
That's not enough to kick you out.
Oh, did you already roll it?
No, I think I said 14 last round. So 13 is good.
Okay. Well, that's my roll. I thought we had to do a contested wisdom roll.
Sorry, I'm forgetting my own things now.
Yeah.
He rolls a 17. Pushing you out again. I did PM you though, so on your turn, make sure you read that. Next up, what does Kashmir do for real before the bats descend upon you guys? Or they don't do actually. Sorry, Ishmark will be up next. But what does Kashmir do?
Okay. Kashmir, how far away are the bats? Like, are they basically where they are?
Yep, they're where they are.
Okay. How does a 60-foot cone work? Like the width I'm talking about. Like, can I catch 3 of these bats within the 60 feet?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, definitely.
So, like, if you go that way, so is it like that, or is it?
I think it's just like from your point, from your center of mass, you just go out 60 feet. Do you know, Joe, off the top of your head, or I'm going to
For
say
what?
that you can cones? I'm going to say you can. Actually, I don't even really care. You can
It's
definitely
a
get through them.
15-foot cone.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it depends on the spell. Each cone is different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
this
ahead
is
and
a 60-foot cone.
Oh well, that'll hit everything, dude.
Yeah.
It's 60
Okay.
foot wide at the end.
So
So yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna target the bats and hit with this. Of course, this is Kashmir's action. So yeah, you got to make a DC con save.
Yeah.
If you
And
fail it, you take 50.
go ahead.
Basically, a 60-foot cone would hit out pretty much like that in front of him.
Okay. The bats, I'm pretty sure even if they fail, they take half damage, so they're just
Oh my god, 50 damage.
Mhm.
absolutely.
What the
destroyed.
fuck? Oh my, it's like max damage almost. Look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It's three 8s and 2 7s in that roll.
You
That's lovely.
wreck all the bats.
They evaporate. Well, maybe not evaporate.
And even though that was Casimir's turn that did it, basically it has to do with you, Rion. You see that he has that spell, and you're just like, why don't you do that? You can seriously kill them, and he's like getting super mad at you and saying like, we can't just do that. We don't want to let them know. And then you just hear him like getting mad, and then all of a sudden you're able to like temporarily get control, and he casts that spell, and he just seems like pissed at you because he didn't want to do that by any means. Like he seemed like he was holding back on it, but since you're in there messing with his noggin, you made him do it. Ishmark, make another wisdom save to see if you chase after Strahd.
Sure.
While he's doing that, Chris, did you get the whisper?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
My god, people are just the worst human beings. Yeah, it's
Yep.
totally a fail.
He's using his movement to go and try to fight Strahd. I don't know how far he can get, but he's doing everything that he can. Now that he slays the bats, he just can't resist anymore. It has to be him versus Strahd.
He's got a movement of 30, unless you want to use more
think he would
movement
just charge
to
up
do like a
there.
dash.
Yeah, he would charge.
So-
Oh, you can move that.
Well,
I
we
don't know if the river is difficult terrain.
Nope,
Yeah,
the river is.
or the little,
Well, he could move there 30 feet and attack if he wanted to, I guess.
Yep, that's what he
Yep.
wants to do for sure. So I'll let you go ahead and roll that as he charges in, and he says that he has to finish this. He can't let him marry Arena.
Sure. So you just kind of see him just screaming hysterically, his sword just blazing with all the ferocity he can muster.
Drager
As-
yells, "No!"
As you just see him lose his mind. And he rolls pretty well on the longswords, 22 and 21.
Those two get through.
So that's a total of 16 damage as you just see this longsword just try to pummel into Strahd as best it can.
All right, and a total of what do we got for damage?
16 slashing.
16 slashing. Probably no surprise. He resists it. You can see that it doesn't have much effect on him.
Go
So-
figure, right?
Yeah, that damage does go through, but he just kind of laughs and he's like, "Oh, coming to approve of the marriage. Give me the hand of your sister. How I appreciate that, Ishmark." And then, yeah, you cut into him. Dirge, you're now up. You see Ishmark like a fool just charge Strahd.
Yeah, as he does that, Dirge kind of looks a bit exasperated. And she's like, stick to the plan, guys. And then she quickly realizes that there was no plan, at least none that they were all aware of. And she will move up to approach. Jeez, my tokens are going all crazy over here. You see her kind of run up, but she kind of stops halfway, kind of looking back to her allies. And with her action, you'll kind of see her eyes kind of narrow a bit. She kind of closes them. She makes a strange hand gesture. And again, you see the moonbeam just shift positions, and it floats right on top of Strahd.
Perfect. He has to make a wisdom, no con save.
Con save, yeah.
I'll remember one of these days. 18.
Yeah, he'll take half.
Okay.
So what is that? That's 5 radiant damage.
You do 5 radiant damage, so a total of. Let me actually calculate that now. 8 plus 5 is 31. Okay.
And if this hasn't been clear already, she would make sure that her sword would be glowing as brightly as possible.
It
would,
is now, yes. After Strahd's turn ended, it starts to glow again.
So you just see this giant, almost lightsaber, just kind of hiss radiant energy out.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of stands before him.
Very nice. He does not look too pleased by that. Next up is the massive amount of dead bats that you guys killed. So I'm just going to delete them out of the initiative tracker real quick to clean that up.
All 30 of them.
The sword that he wields glows brightly again as you guys are going to have to make another wisdom battle of minds, Strahd versus you, to see who overpowers each other. Go ahead and give a wisdom check.
Is he casting a spell, or is that an ability that he's using?
Not a spell.
Okay.
It's actually a sword that seems to be doing it.
Maybe it's a good thing that Goober didn't get to keep that sword.
And that's on you, Gaia, or Dirge, sorry, to do the save.
The save for which one?
Wisdom. Or contested wisdom against Strahd.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let me roll that. Boop, 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 boop. Wisdom. She feels like she's going to use her inspiration.
Probably a good call.
Probably a good call. All right. That's a 20 this time. She wavers for a minute, but you can see her eyes kind of narrow again. She steals her resolve.
Absolutely. And as Strahd's turns up, you see all the damage that you guys just did to him. The sword strikes that were cut across him, and then the moonbeam that kind of did radiant damage. It all starts to undo itself. Much like Dragar has experienced before, it pretty much fully goes away. But as Dirge lights up her sword, he seems very unpleased by that, and you see his skin start to blow. He doesn't burn. He doesn't wince, but he looks at it in frustration, and you hear him say that will definitely not do. And with that, he will cast. Let's see what the range on this sucker is.
That pink square will be the moonbeam, for what it's worth.
Okay. And he will cast. I'm going to draw a similar thing. What is that?
He casts Meteor Swarm. You take all the damage.
What is that? 5, 10, 15, 20. So 4x4. And let's see if I can.
I would like Kashmir to do counterspell, but, and I know he's going to do it at a higher level, but can he do like an Arcana check to see if he can guess what level he needs to cast counterspell at?
Not off of his turn.
Isn't counterspell a reaction spell?
Yeah, so you can definitely
it's a
reaction, but you can't Arcana check off your turn.
You can't reaction or counter.
Okay, so he's just going to cast counterspell then.
All right.
At 9th level.
Okay, so what save does Strahd need to make then?
It doesn't. It's gone. It's a 9th level counterspell.
9th level? That's some bullshit counterspell right there.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Unless Strahd has secret 10th level magic.
Like, I will do that. And that's, for some reason, the text.
Wait, yeah, you're misreading it. He's not a 9th level spellcaster. Or he's a 9th level spellcaster, but he doesn't have a 9 spell slot. He only has a 5th level spell slot, and you used it.
Okay.
So the highest you can cast it at is a 4th
Third.
level.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Not 3rd. That's my...
I was going to say, that guy is definitely not that strong, but I had to check myself.
Well, you have him listed as a 9th level, and so it's like,
Yeah,
okay.
he's a 9th level spellcaster. He doesn't have 9 spell slots though. 9th level spell slots. So
That'd be a 5th level spell slot.
my save is 21, which I believe makes it at that point
For what?
the against counter spell.
No, the counter spell is he rolls a check against the level of your spell.
Okay, so he rolls it then.
not
Sorry.
if well, it depends on what level the spell is.
High enough for you to do it.
Is it a
Yes.
okay? So I have to roll it.
Yes.
Assuming it's above 5th
And that's-
level or whatever you cast it at.
Arcana or spellcasting?
It's a D20 plus your spellcasting modifier of, I'm guessing, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
I don't know what his stat is.
3.
So D20 plus 3. You need to equal the level of the spell.
So hopefully I'm doing this right.
Oh, yeah,
20?
that does it.
You
That
kill it. You definitely kill the spell. I'm gonna keep that square though, because that's gonna definitely be useful. Yeah. So you.
All right. So everyone run away from the blue square. No, I'm joking.
Get out of the fire!
I guess he still has his regular turn. So at that point, with that being,
Well, if that was his spell,
yeah, that's his action. He
it
still
does
has.
cancel it. Yeah,
Yeah, don't worry. He's
he's
obviously
got his
can
bonus in it.
move out of the thing, and let's see what he
Mark
got.
will attack him.
Yep, definitely. Go ahead.
You'll not get away from me.
I guess he doesn't run away though. He's not really scared of Ishmark. I lied. He's just gonna not. He's definitely not running away from Ishmark. He just steps out of the moonbeam,
Okay.
and then Gaia, death save. Gaia is at 1 HP. Stabilized at 1 HP.
Her will to survive and fight him is so powerful.
Next up is, let me just see before we go to Dragar that I'm doing this right.
This is going well so far, guys.
At the start of your next turn.
Sure, it's
Yeah.
going well.
Alton reappears basically right where, right behind Gaia's dead or now reconscious corpse, and he is going to lunge towards Dirge.
Is he affected by the Sunblade?
No.
Okay.
19 on the first hit.
Yeah.
That goes through. Oh my god. So 3 attacks go through unless you have some kind of crazy shit to boost your AC.
Not that I know of.
Yeah. All right. So you take 20 damage on the first strike.
Is this all physical damage?
Yes, slashing. 20 on the first strike, 18 on the second, and this one's gonna hurt. Gene.
Dirge is technically 10 feet away from Dragar, right?
So total of, I'm just gonna tell you a total. 20, 18. Yes, 10 feet, not 5, Dragar. 59 damage.
Oh, fuck.
Serious?
Yep.
I guess. Then Dirge is down. There's no way she has 59 health.
And then he will not flash away this time. He's still stuck there. Dragar, you're now up.
Oh, with seeing Alton pop back into reality and take down Dirge, the emotion of seeing guys, get up is completely gone again, and his anger fueling him. Dragar steps forward, just slowly, like he's not moving slowly, but it looks like he's moving, and his brain's working at like a speed that's just like he's calm, but he's just angry. He's almost calm in his rage, but his rage is like fueling his calmness. It's really weird. It's kind of like the Karate Kid. It's awesome. But anyway, Dragar winds up, prepared to absolutely just destroy the shell of what used to be one of his best friends, and he wields his two-handed warhammer and swings the first time for 24 to hit.
Definitely.
just continually like fueling the calm rage that Drager has just in his mind. He's replaying actions that him and Alton did in the past together. Well, he's just slamming, and he'll hit again with another Warhammer for 26, and he's just beating as hard as he possibly can on what he believes is, like I said, just a remnants of the body, like the biological form of Alton, not the spirit or the person who he was. And he hits for 23 damage.
Beautiful. And you slam into him, and Alton doesn't even seem to be aware that you're there, and you just hear the crunching and breaking of his bones, but not a wince of like emotion or pain comes across Alton as you do so. The Alton that you remember even before seems to be just nothing but a vessel at this point, set on killing all of you. But nonetheless, you slam into his back, and you hear his backbone, like something snap. And to your surprise, he doesn't even wince, although he clearly, as you pull the hammer back, seems to be standing like kind of like his back is broken in some way. Rion, on your turn, you're pushed out of Kashmir again, and as you do so, you see the kind of emotionless Alton flash away, and again, Alton crying out in pains and just yelling in agony to stop. And then you hear him like cry out, "No, not Dirge! Stop this at once!" And he's just like yelling over, like just droning on. What do you do?
I'm going to possess Kashmir again, but when I do, I'm going to say, like, before he even starts talking, it's like, yes, I know you don't want me in here, but look, I have to do this in order to save my friends. So you can either help me, and we can, get this, hopefully get the battle to our side, or we could constantly keep fighting, and you end up joining me in the aftermath. Choice.
Seeing Dirge go down and Gaia in her current state, you hear him just basically like mentally sigh, and he's like, "You're right. We can't be fighting. We're useless in combat right now. We're doing nothing besides slaying bats." And he's like, "Fine, we'll work together, but this isn't permanent."
Agreed. And with that, Rion would hold out Kashmir's hands and then cast Dispel. We'll try it. Dispel magic at 4th level, but targeting the tattoo that you told me about on the back of Alton's neck.
Okay. 4th level.
Mm-hmm.
And that just dispels 4th level or lower instantly?
Yeah.
Definitely does nothing.
Well, it's...
He can
Each
roll to
spell
force
higher.
it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like counterspell.
Yep, roll.
Okay. And so that would be... charisma. Come on. Oh, yeah. Come on, high numbers. That's not high number. All right.
I didn't get it done for you. He stands there still. And he's like, "No, it's not." Kashmir's saying, "No, it's not working. Whatever is controlling him is clearly something massively like powerful in arcane. That is something ungodly."
Yes, and I think it might be well of my power level as well.
Not working together, though. You cast Dispel as Rion, so that's your main action. Does Rion do a bonus action?
And I can't cast another spell. I can move Kashmir, right?
Yep.
I can do everything.
Yep.
Okay, so then I will definitely just kind of step back over here. And then he will give... You can't give bardic inspiration to a dead person, can you?
That is, I believe, true.
And technically, Dirge isn't dead, just unconscious, so I don't know. But in this case, I guess I will give it to Dragar to hopefully maybe absorb a couple more hits.
So Dragar hears Kashmir basically speaking exactly how you know Kashmir, in the same kind of tone, but in a mannerism that is very much like Rion, as he's like inspiring you to continue fighting and whatever Rion would say. Next up is actually regular Kashmir. So go ahead, I guess. Now
What's the bardic inspiration give me?
a D?
D8 to basically anything, spells.
Okay. No, I know that. I thought it was a roll. I thought I had to roll a number to give the bardic inspiration total to me. Okay.
So what does Kashmir do?
All right. So that's gone. I guess I'm gonna throw out a magic missile.
All right. On
We're gonna do it against Alton. Yeah.
he instantly shields it.
Okay.
Dirge, Ishmark, you're continuing to fight Strahd. I guess if you want to like have him not fight Strahd anymore, you can do a wisdom save and see if he snaps out of it. But
Well, at this point,
he's kind of committed at this point.
yeah, he'll just swipe 3 times.
Yep. All of them not even coming close, as Strahd not being caught in the moonbeam at this point, still being burned by the sunblade.
Moonbeam's gone now.
Yeah, he just is basically, now that it's gone and whatnot, he's easily able to parry all of his fights. Dirge, or all of his strikes. You're on your first death save.
All right.
Save. The Sun Sword is now out. Or no, it's on the ground. So Strahd will look to actually regain some of his wounds, heal over, and he heals some. You guys see that some of the cuts and burns start to peel away, and then he will attack Ishmark. Oh my god. So Ishmark takes, you guys are gonna hate me, 26 to hit, and then a total of 49 damage in the first strike.
Goodness.
And then he'll attack again because he has multi-attack. And this time completely finishing him off, unless somebody has something they can do to stop an 18 to hit, which I don't think anyone can. So Ishmark definitely goes down. Strahd looks to the group in absolute dismay, and Dragar and Kashmir being the only ones that stand up. And he kind of shrugs and says, well, I guess there's enough invites now to go around. He kind of laughs at that. Dragar, whoever else survives, we'll see you at mine and Arena's wedding. Until next time. And then he grabs Ishmark by the arm and starts to walk off with him. Gaia, you are unconscious still. Did you roll your d4 to see how many hours you're unconscious for?
Gaia woke up. She got a 20.
Oh, yeah. No, you're still stabilized. Oh, yeah, you are.
No,
Sorry.
you got
yeah,
that one hit point.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
One hit point, Gaia.
Indeed. Yeah, she kind of comes to and whatnot. She just body wrecked in pain. She's going to focus on trying to stay alive a little longer in case she has to fight Alton once more. And will promptly cast a cure wound on herself. Level 2.
Solid idea.
Skill faster, ability modifier, so I'll be +2 maybe. Oh, good. All right. Yep. She will then stand up, taking in her surroundings, and if she sees Ishmark getting sent off, she'll probably just real quick. What? Why is he going? And he looks in pretty rough condition because he got knocked out, right?
Yeah, Ishmark looks absolutely dead. And as you say, where is he going? Strahd, pulling him along, says, well, I have to give Arena some kind of wedding gift. I suppose her turned brother will have to do.
In this situation, my head says that throwing a healing word at him would help wake him up or revive him if he is not dead.
Can you healing ward after? What did you use to heal?
I used Cure Wounds, so
Yeah,
that's
so
an action, then healing word's bonus.
Yeah, but once you cast a spell as an action, you can't bonus action another spell, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
Good try,
I
though.
mean, Gaia, you could lay on hands and then healing
Yeah.
word.
That is true.
Yeah, fair.
Did I say Cure Wounds?
Yeah, no, I'll let you rep on that.
She totally was just like, Baylor, thank you, and gets up, sees that, and is like, healing words instead. Totally. And that one will be the second.
Yeah, I'll let you rec on that. No worries.
It just adds a D4 to it, correct?
Healing ward? I honestly do not know. I've never casted it.
It's you cast it on anyone you could. You could cast it
44 plus
your wisdom.
And at higher levels, though, you add on another D4, right?
Yeah, and you see Ishmark looks pretty dead. Dirge is unconscious. Dragar is badly injured.
Ooh, I like that.
You're almost dead as well.
Oh, yeah, she's going to be up at.
Rian looks peachy though. on the
So
right side.
you're lay on handsing yourself and healing warding who?
Ishmark. Just
Ishmark? Okay.
make him conscious and hopefully give him the fighting chance.
All right.
Wow. Can I have her lice or luck with the dice? Like
How much
really?
do you lay on hands on yourself for?
10. So I have 5 more to work with just to.
All right. As Ishmael kind of coughs back to life, blood coughing out of his mouth. Alton still being there. Strahd says, Alton, once you're done catching up with all your friends, be sure to remove that sword from that filth. She dishonors my brother's name, and I won't have her bringing any more shame to Sergi. Bring the sun sword back once you're done. And with that, Alton will look to Dragar, who is kind of just standing in between him, and he will go into his sword frenzy, missing, hitting, missing.
I have 19 if I roll my back. Yeah.
Yep. The two that did hit are 26s.
No, fair enough.
She got a total of, let me just mathematics that since I'm bad at it. Total of, and this is all stuff that you can resist in half, 31.
Yep.
So half of that.
Yep.
And I actually forgot to do something here, so let me retcon that. All right, we're fine. Jaga, you're now, or let me roll this really quick. Yeah, roll. And again, Alton poofs away and is gone.
Drager will immediately turn his attention to Dirge, and losing all emotion and all rage, Drager kneels down and grabs onto Dirge's armor and tries to roll her over. And Drager says, "Is there anything?" And he tries to like splash some water that he has on his belt on her face, but obviously she's still knocked out.
There you go. Don't worry. I can help her.
So I wouldn't care about Strahd or Ishmark at this point.
Okay, so go if you're trying to stabilize Dirge, it would be a medicine check.
I don't actually have that, but I'm sure I'll do a check anyway.
All you have to do is roll over 10 and it counts and you stabilize them, but if you fail, I'm pretty sure it counts towards his fails, but
14.
you stabilize Dirge.
Right.
And
Drager
then-
will end his turn.
All right, the rage fizzles out. Rion in Kashmir. You see the group looking like they're in pretty rough shape. What do? Strahd throws the invitations on the ground and says, whoever's left, you're more than welcome to come.
Kashmir's going to run over to Dirge and lay his hands on her, casting Cure Wounds. Okay. At 3rd level. So wow, an epic hit points, yay! And then in the mannerisms is going to be Rion, but of course it's going to be Kashmir's voice. You'll hear Rion say, "Dragar, you fool! Don't worry about her at the moment. Alton's going to be back any moment. He just went to the spirit realm. Prepare yourself."
Drager
And
would
with
just look
that,
confused.
with the conscious dirge coming up, Rion would whisper to her little words of encouragement. Come on, where's your goddess now? Don't fail her. Bring honor to your goddess and take up the sun sword and defeat Alton, and giving her bardic inspiration. And
Perfect.
that will be Rion.
Yeah, and it jumps right to Kashmir since he rolled after them.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'm gonna super cheat and do. Man, got some really great AoE spells and like high damaging spells, but they are AoE and friendly fire. I want that cheat code to turn off friendly fire. Kashmir's just gonna do greater invisibility.
Okay. Sounds good. Ishmark is now alive, and as he kind of was coughed to, you see that he's being dragged by Strahd.
Oh, I forgot about that actually.
What's on to you, Joe, who's muted?
All right. So, am I controlling him? Can he fight? I don't.
Yeah, technically he's. I think he's healed back up to 10 or 11 hit points.
All right, just long enough to get killed again. So he picks up his blades and just attacks Strahd.
Okay.
He's super weak, obviously, but he just has no other goal. And he makes his 3 shots, just swiping wildly. It's a crit, but
And of course you crit.
all junk. Junk time right there. It's 14. It's 18 total damage.
Perfect. Obviously, he resists some of it as he coughs back to life and just fights on, bloodied and a mess. He stands up and just says that he won't let him take Ishmael or let him marry Arena. He'll stop him, and if he doesn't stop him, you guys will. And he swipes into him and gets back up and starts to fight Strahd again. He just looks annoyed by it more than anything. Dirge is now up.
Yeah, you see Dirge kind of just wakes up and just coughs up a gout of blood. I don't understand how his swords were doing 20 damage, but apparently there are lightsabers cutting through her, horribly maiming her body in some strange way. And as she kind of bleary-eyed looks around, she just kind of gasps for air and just kind of says a light prayer to Lyra and places this wound on her chest, her hand glowing brightly as she lays on hands to heal her the entirety of the amount. And then with the bonus action, you'll see her body kind of shimmer and glow. Did we get like a sense that Alton's like undead, right? I'm guessing.
Something along that lines for sure.
All right, she'll cast protection from good and evil on herself as well. And that'll be it for her.
Perfect. Strahd is up. Give me a quick a wisdom save on Ishmark.
Sure. Wisdom save?
Yep.
All right.
Sixteen is just not enough. So, annoyed by this, he looks Ishmark dead in the eyes and says, "Listen, my friend, fighting will not help. The only thing that you can do is accept mine and Arena's love. Come with me. She wants to see you. She misses you so much." And with that, Ishmark just looks at him and is completely entrenched. by the gaze of Strahd. He lowers his weapons and will agree with Strahd to go. And they're going to start moseying on through the forest, not running away, not even like looking like they're in a hurry, just like two friends walking down a path. They're going to start leaving. Yeah, you're now up. I'm pretty sure they get farther than that, but you get the point.
She is up, and she will kind of curse at the ground, just like, "What is he thinking?" As she watches Ishmark walking away, and kind of like have like run up to the riverbed, but to run through water may not exactly be the smartest idea. But with that, she's taking assessment of Dirge and Dragar and Kashmir, and just kind of like, does Dirge appreciate more healing? Because Guy would be willing to offer it.
Dirge looks like kind of badly injured, but she healed herself substantially.
Oh.
She probably looks better off than you do, though.
Sorry, sound like someone was about to say something.
I was going to say Dragar's probably pretty wounded as well.
Dragar is great.
Do you like a few words?
Dragar says, "Take care of our friends first. It's okay. I'm just waiting for the son of a bitch to come back."
Well, we'll have to probably chase him down. Wait. And like kind of the hang on, you're not talking about Strahd. And she'll even kind of look around like, where did he go? Where is Alton? And kind of clasp her ribs, kind of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't worry about him. Yep, I am going to do a heal spell.
All right.
Cool from doing that.
And you're healing yourself? All right, I'll let you roll that. And to no one's surprise, Alton blinks back into your realm.
Are you going to allow him to attack right now?
Him, yeah. That's
Okay.
part of the whole joy of what he's doing to you guys. And he just kind of stands there momentarily, like swaying with the top half of his torso since you broke his spine. He just kind of almost like the top half of his body is swinging from the broken spine, but then he readies his swords and he's going to charge in at you, Dragar.
Dirge will block the first attack.
All right, definitely missing. Seeing that you entwine, he kind of just like swings around Dragar and will then do one of his attacks against Gaia, who he hit the 19 on. What's your AC, Gaia?
17.
All right, you take a total of 20 damage. And then again, he will go back to hitting Dragar with his final attack. Definitely missing.
Doesn't Dragar have that protection thingy as well to cause disadvantage?
I think he gets an advantage for people attacking.
Yeah, for everybody else attacking.
Okay.
I get dirges on my attack. Oh, on my save, sorry, on my saves.
At which point you will see him ready his hands and hold them in front of you, and everybody make a dex save.
Oh, yay!
Is this a spell?
Yes. For all those that probably want to counterspell it. All right, and that's a first level spell, so I'm pretty sure it fizzles right out as I'm slowly learning how counterspell works. Don't make a dex save, luckily for you guys.
That's good.
Good thing
really
for
good.
Dan.
That
Yeah.
was such a good deck save.
Dragar, you're up, and Alton is just back, and let me actually see if he actually truly is back. Or if he blinks out again. He stays this time.
You forgot the
Oh.
whisper.
Nope, he definitely does not, sorry. He blinks out.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Alright, Trigger will,
I seen Dragar's save, and I'm like, oh, he's good.
with all the attacks, Trigger just, gets pissed off again and he's looking around, and Dragar says, "Why don't you come out and fight? What is wrong? Wussy."
You want to do some kind of check to call him out?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Fuck. I'll do a nature. No.
Nature?
Well, I can't think of it. I can do a religion check.
Intimidate or.
I guess, yeah, okay, I'll do an
Persuasion.
intimidation check. How about that?
Yeah,
Does
that
work
sounds good
for
to
you?
me. That sounds a little better than nature.
Nature.
I don't know what the fuck, religion.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a weird one. Yeah, you call out, and as you call out, like, come out and fight me, Alton, he does not do so.
Dragar says you wussy.
I'm assuming you don't want to do anything else?
I can't guarantee he's gonna be back right away. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it, I'll rage.
Okay.
Uh,
Rion, it's up to you. You're now working with Kashmir, so he doesn't force you out, but what do you want to try to do?
I can't use Kashmir's abilities on my turn, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to say probably
I mean,
not.
yeah, we're working together, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. In that case, then I'll just move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, move up to here, and then I'm going to play counter song. Or counter song or counter charm or something like that. Yeah, counter charm. And all Ishmark has to do is be able to hear me. Actually, it does say 30 feet, so let me double check.
He's pretty far away.
Damn it, not quite. Shit. I was
Is
hoping
it
to
an, is
have-
it an instrument thing anyways?
Yeah,
'Cause-
I can sing.
Oh, you can sing. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Oh,
Just out of range anyways.
Well, shit. Okay. But is Strahd still in view?
Technically, he's not in a rush to get away from you guys, so yeah, he's still in view. He's just like walking around like two good friends having a nice little stroll through the forest.
Actually, I could.
Definitely come back if you like.
Sure, for shits and giggles, I'll try to save him. Dispel magic on Ishmark to get rid of the charm.
Okay. His charm is pretty high, so you're gonna have to do a check on that. It's not a regular charm person. It's a super Strahd charm.
I'm happy with that roll, but I don't think it's high enough.
No,
But
well,
I'm still happy
6.
with that roll.
I do not believe so.
So does that mean I failed,
let me
or
let me look it up. Let me see. I'll actually look.
it's weird?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'll say that just this it does disarm it.
Okay.
So Rion or Ishmark is not charmed anymore. You're now up, Kashmir for real, the real Kashmir.
Okay. Let's see. I have one of those left. Oh, no, that's me. So Kashmir is going to hold his action for I still want to do fireball, but a firebolt for when Alton shows up.
Your raid action, I guess.
Yeah.
So as Ishmark goes to go actually, and you disarm the charm and he snaps out of it, you just hear he would hear Strahd sigh and just say, "Your friends are definitely persistent to a point of annoyance." And then finally, just being annoyed by you guys, he's going to use the legendary action and say, "Get wrecked, Ishmark," and bite him.
Oh, you're talking about Ishmark. Never mind.
Yep.
I thought you.
That does almost certainly enough to kill him, but let's just make sure. We'll do the formalities. I think with whatever remaining health he has, that 30 is probably enough to take him down.
It drops him, yeah.
And it's a bite attack, so he dead.
Strahd probably gains back wounds and all that other jazz.
He looks back to you guys and says, "Will this be enough, or shall I come spend some more time?"
It depends. Do you move off the board?
It's not his turn, but Dirge is now up.
Yeah, Dirge kind of is breathing heavily, a little bit worried for her friends. And she'll set up a raid action to use an ability when... Fuck, that doesn't even help because he has Blink. All right, she'll ready a spell and she'll cast it as soon as she sees Alton appear.
Okay. You hear Strahd whistle, and then he continues on, and at that point you see his nightmare fly through the sky and then land, at which point he'll throw Ishmark's dead body on it, get on the nightmare, look to you guys all and wave and say, hope to see you all at the wedding. It's going to be a beautiful affair. And with that, right off into the night. Gaia.
Oh, Strahd taking off in one way and Alton hiding somewhere. Gaia will kind of brandish up her offhand sword and just yell out like, Alton! See this? It is your sword. I got smile because you had me promised to always smile. Now come back to us. You are no more slave. Come back. And she's just cursing to the air.
Do you want to do a check?
Sure. I'm going to say this will be a persuasion. So, cool. 21.
21, beautiful. All right, and there's not much else you can do on your turn. Actually, I'll say that...
Ready in action! Or actually, no, she's going to totally bonus action healing word herself so she doesn't hopefully die.
As a reaction, even though it's technically not raw, but whatever, Alton appears 10 feet away from you in the river, and he's just staring at you soullessly, looking at his sword and then looking at you, almost like he kind of recognizes you, but he can't figure out why.
Alton, stop this madness.
Dirge, your spell goes off if you see.
Yeah, she kind of looks at him, and she kind of she doesn't look mad as much as like disappointed. She kind of figured this person was somebody they liked, and she says, "Kneel," and she casts command on him.
Okay, wisdom
save.
I also attacking from invisibility gives you advantage, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I need to roll that at advantage.
Wisdom save at a 22.
22?
Yep.
Your rolls are just ridiculous. Yeah, that passes.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Okay.
However, though, he stands and stares at the water. He doesn't actually move. He just looks at you guys. Let's see if he can... Let's see if whatever happens. Yeah, actually. He stays there. Dragar. Alton has appeared in front of Gaia. He's stopped the onslaught for momentary, but you just see him there, and you can tell now more clear than ever that whatever Alton used to be is not what stands in front of you now. What do you do?
Raging out, Dragar would slowly walk forward. Again, is Alton held there by any way?
Nope, he just seems to be standing there looking at Gaia like he recognizes her, but he doesn't know why.
Dragar will walk up and he will, in his rage-themed hands, bring down his warhammer again and just fueling again with this building rage of hatred at this empty shell of his old friend, not understanding anything else other than having to just destroy him with a crit.
Oh my goodness.
And again, hitting with twice again with a 25, just continually bringing this down. 23 plus 34 plus 2 is 35, 36 damage. Just crushing this empty dead shell.
Don't forget you have Bardic Inspiration, so you can add that to the crit.
Oh, so I can add more damage to that?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
For the D8?
Yep.
That's
So wouldn't
2d8
that be
damage.
2d8?
Yeah, 2d8 onto the damage then.
Oh wow, that's even funner. I'll take
Oh,
2
God.
8. We'll take 16 damage.
God.
Forget about the damage. So that's 36 to 16 is 52 damage.
Beautiful. That doesn't.
I want to crush this into the fucking ground if he dies, man.
Yeah, I'm I'm gonna say he has like a couple hit points left, but just because that is disgusting and fitting, I'll say that you take down Alton however you want to take down Alton.
Just Drager is crying at this point, the loss of his friend, and being fueled by the ragers of just the hatred and the rage of this whatever took over him and whatever Strahd did to him. Drager just continues to bring his hammer down relentlessly over and over again on this swelling, bloodied pool of what used to be the body of Alton. And by the time Drager is done, the river has washed away all the blood. All that's basically there is whatever weapons and armor Alton had left.
Yeah, guy would like come in at one point, just like trying to push him aside. In essence, when he finally stops, like, yeah, whatever's like left. Alton.
Sorry, go ahead.
Guy would be pretty upset with just the overkill that he does on Alton. Like when she's able to like get in there without him like bashing her too, she will pull whatever bits of Alton is left, I guess, and just frustrated because she doesn't want him to just be washed down the river or anything. Like he was one of her buddies and whatnot.
As soon as Drager is done pounding and he sees Guy, he just kind of snaps out of it and he works away the truth. Drager says, "Hey, what's going on?"
Oh, she's like red eye, just like you killed him. He's my gosh.
He was already dead, Gaia.
Drager says,
And this is in
not
Rion.
anymore, my friend.
Yeah, he was not himself.
No, Gaia. He was dead. I saw his soul in the spirit realm. He was dead. He was being tortured, being forced to do things for Strahd.
And this is Kashmir speaking to you.
And yeah, okay, cool. So it's Kashmir. She's like, wait, what? Kashmir, what are you saying? Like,
oh.
What do you mean you saw it?
Hi, guys. I forgot to say that I'm here, Rion. Yeah, you guys been really hard to find in the spirit realm. It's really hard to see, but both me and Kashmir is really exhausted at this point, so we're gonna kind of separate. But hopefully later we can talk more, and with that you can kind of just see almost like life being drained out of Kashmir, but it's not necessarily his life. And Kashmir just kind of falls down to the ground, like breathing a little heavily, because being possessed by a spirit is, I'm guessing, quite exhausting. So.
Absolutely. And he kind of like is exhaling and is just like, geez, that guy is even more abrasive even after he's dead. Just like,
Guy's speechless right now. She's just, yeah.
Drager looks like he understands everything that just happened.
It's like, oh yeah, this makes complete sense. I'm good with it.
Let's see, what spells do I have that can help me dig a hole?
Dig a hole?
Oh, I know. Well, no, she'll just turn into her badger.
Cold lightning would work.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. No, she's, like I said, upset and whatnot, so she's going to at least try and bury Alton, or at least give whatever portion of him.
Dragar asks Gaia, for the memory of Alton, I will help bury him. I loved Alton. I just hated what he became.
You have me fooled. I tell you. Oh, not himself. He just went all barbaric on him.
Gaia, you should think back to your paladin training. You should be able to detect his corrupted spirits. It's a basic principle of being a paladin. Don't let your emotion blind you to this.
This is what I'm trying to accept him as he was. He was obviously not himself. It was to what I knew him to be. He had to be in there. And that was who I was trying to bring back. And it just looked a lot like what maybe I would have been if I had given into the darkness. And I worry that is what had happened to him. He obviously was persuaded. And
hopefully, Dragar says, hopefully now our friend Alton has peace in the afterlife. Hopefully he is not held in chains like some kind of weird Rion Kashmir mutate said.
indeed. I just let's at least get him buried and
Yeah, his
transfer
body
him to
is.
a badger and make a nice little burial ground hole.
Yeah, and Alton looks pretty mangled and probably even worse than he did when he was cut down by Uzik. But you're able to take what's left of him and shift into your badger and kind of dig. And you're able to. It takes a little bit of time, but being a badger, it is much quicker, at least. And you're able to bury Alton. And if you wanted to like say any words or anything, you'd be able to do that for sure. And then,
Nothing comes to mind at the moment, but I'm sure Gaia would
yeah,
have something to say.
Ripperoni, Paylor, Baylor.
And yeah, as you kind of bury him, Jared would kind of look to Gaia, and she didn't really get to know this individual, but she kind of smiles a bit and kind of grabs the hand of her friend, and she says, "Never say goodbye, because saying goodbye means going away. Going away means forgetting." And she kind of just kind of looks to her and says, he's got to be in a better place now that we finally put him at rest.
I suppose let us see he's at rest.
The Dragar says we must get to Kazakh. Still need to get Rion back.
Yes.
We need to get back to the castle. Arena told me about an abbey in Kazakh that will help her too. We must fix all this. We still have time.
Indeed, we have a wedding to attend.
You look at the invitations that have mud on them now.
Gaia will ignite one with a lightning cantrip. Just
All right, you zap it, and it burns away.
start stalking off in the direction. Like, come on, let's go catch up.
Rion's like he's actually saying stuff, but you guys can't hear him at all. It's like, when Dirge is being muted, kind of like one of those instances.
Yeah.
But basically what he's saying, do you guys not want to rest? Or, you've been in a serious fight, guy, you're still bleeding quite a bit. And of course, nobody's hearing this. And he's just like, okay, I guess nobody wants to rest. And he just slowly follows. And he's actually going to start singing.
Ooh, can we say that the wind picks up and we can hear like the music on the wind? Like
Yeah,
that.
very faintly you're able to. You just kind of like get that moment where you think you hear it. Interestingly enough, Rion, traveling in the spirit realm is definitely difficult. So if you're gonna stay in the spirit realm, there'll be some checks to actually like follow the group.
I would go as far as I can. Once I see the world starts to get a little dark, I would hop into Kashmir for a few minutes and then hop out, like see if I could do that for a while. But if I can't, then I will possess Kashmir for as long as possible, and then I will try to possess Dragar and then like basically jump around the group, but I don't want to take over their mind. I just want to stay in the back of it. So that way they're still in full control of their bodies and all that. Just I have a place to stay kind of deal.
So yeah, you can hop into Kashmir's body pretty much at will. Everybody else you would need to do a contest against since you don't have that strong link. But even being in like Kashmir's mind, trying to like let him control himself, you're absolutely able to do that. But it just feels like you're in a crowded room or like a small closet basically, and your two like minds or souls are just like pressed up against each other, even at the best of times. But it's kind of like if you stay in the spirit realm, you're definitely gonna lose track of the group, and you have that dark kind of corruption of the tainted souls like pulling at you, and you feel yourself like getting these dark thoughts like you want to just like kill and just things like that just like come periodically into your mind if you stay in the spirit realm. So it's basically like stay in the spirit realm, lose the group, and become slowly more corrupted or have a very uncomfortable experience inside someone's mind with them.
Well, I could always hop in Gaia's mind. That's pretty emptied in there, right?
I don't,
Yuck.
Of course, that's a complete joke. But yeah, I will, like I said, stay in Kashmir's mind for as long as I can. And once it starts to get a little bit too unbearable, I will try to move somewhere else. Like, how long can I stay in Kashmir?
You're fine to like stay. Like it's not anything that's exhausting. It's just more like you are reading each other's thoughts, whether you want to or not.
Okay. Just,
So
it's more uncomfortable. It's like
yeah,
having someone directly in your face 24/7.
yeah.
And
If I had to text Rion at any point, she would actually want to have a conversation, at least just like.
So you essentially would hear Kashmir talking to himself and basically like arguing with himself, sometimes with like mannerisms of Rion, and then sometimes sounding plainly like Kashmir. But it just seems like he's really like weird.
Drager would eventually ask Cashmere, like, "Did I gotta ask? So what's going on, buddy?"
And he would reply, your friend, the one that was killed in the temple, the one that hated me. For some reason, he decides to curse me even in death. He keeps invading my mind.
Dragar says that. I thought he said he would do something like that.
I don't understand this guy. He said he hates me, and then he saves my life, and then now he comes back and tortures me. Don't. And he's just like, why are you in my head?
Dragar says you must have really pissed him off.
Dirge smiles and she says, maybe you two have a deeper connection than you previously thought. I'm sure he could work the mind of someone else if you really wish to.
And he's like, well, we both have sisters. I don't know if he's told anyone about that, but... And then Rion, you could say whatever you want, but he just totally like blurts that out on you.
Yeah, it's almost like he would say, we both have sisters, and then you kind of hear like Rion or Kashmir try to say something like, almost like trying to catch it, and then he just, and that blank look on his face is like, did he say something, or like not sure what was going on?
Dirge hears this and kind of raises her brow. You both have sisters. I think you did tell us about your sister. I guess that does make sense. I think I have sisters. Well, half sisters anyway. I didn't really get to meet any of my family members. Aside from my dad and my mom. Mostly my dad.
Casimir says that family makes you do all kinds of crazy things.
I know, they wanted me to go kill a bunch of elves. Isn't that weird?
And he's like, well, I killed my own sister with my own hands, and I gave my soul to a dark entity to bring her back, so it doesn't really seem that weird to me.
It seems like a really bad trade. Why would you kill someone and then barter for them to be back? Do you want to kill her twice? I don't understand.
And with that, he would say, I killed her originally because she was entranced by Strahd. He was set to marry her. That's who he had his eyes on for this time. And I knew there was no negotiating with her. She was completely entranced by the devil. So the only way I could not bear to see my sister turned into one of his horrible creatures, I had to kill her. But she speaks to me in my dreams now and says that she's learned the errors of her ways and that she's stuck in Strahd's crypt.
Well, that's sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
He's like, well, it's a product of my own actions, and I will definitely be the one to fix it and save her. And Rion, as you hear that, you're actually like reading his actual thoughts. And as he's speaking this, you hear him like think that the second he gets a chance and repays his debt to you, that he has to get out of here. He has to get away from you guys because it's just too dangerous. And as he's thinking this, he's like, oh, and he tries to stop himself because he realizes that you can think it. And he's just like, you hear him like thinking, trying to like block out that he just thought that.
I'm not thinking about the grill. I'm not thinking about the grill.
Wow.
Damn it, I thought about the grill. Kind of like one of those things.
Yeah.
And as Kashmir is actually talking about his sister, Rion's thoughts about his own sister and what he would do to protect his sister or, save his sister's soul goes to Kashmir as well. And it's almost the same thing. And as that kind of struggle goes in between Rion, like, he hates himself that he would do that. He would even the thoughts of betraying the group, he would do if it meant saving his sister. And he hates himself that he would do that.
And Kashmir actually
and
doesn't
then
like blurt that out.
Kashmir, Kashmir would actually then understand that that's probably why Rion hates, or not hates, but lashes out at Kashmir.
He would tell
Just
you kind
because
of telepathically, like, don't hate yourself. I completely understand. Family is some of the most important thing in the world. It's our blood. And he's like, don't worry, your secret is safe with me, as long as you don't say anything about what I just thought, as you guys are having like this telepathic bro moment.
I kind of see like Kashmir not necessarily talking out loud, but like talking with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, he's like
like
an Italian. He's just like kind of talking, but not saying anything. His hands are just moving.
yeah, and you can really tell the conversation because Rion like talks with his hands a certain way or not at all, and then Kashmir talks with his hands or not. Like it's just one of those back and forth. Quite hilarious for other people to be watching, but
and you
not
basically
so much
both disagree to each other that you would totally betray the group to save your own sisters, but nobody else hears that at all, and you're just both like, wow, we're shitty people, but it's our family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And with that, you guys have made I'm assuming you're heading where?
I have no clue. I'm being forced, so
We're going to Krezik's. We're finishing the path to Krezik.
So you guys make quite a bit of ways, and as I pull you to the main map and we drop this, you obviously pass much past the Wizards of Wine, and you get to the fork where there is the river is where you guys just fought, so around there. And Krezik's being pretty close. Nighttime is coming quick, but Kashmir would say that he believes Krezik's is close, just to the west. And he says that if we hurry, I think we can make it before nightfall. If nobody disagrees with that.
Dreyer says this whole thing must happen quickly from here on out. There will be no time. We must go.
We only have X amount of days till wedding.
Yeah. So you head up to Krezik's, and as you're kind of heading westwards, it starts to get a little bit hilly, and you notice that the weather starts to change a bit, and it starts to get a little snowy again. The green, kind of dead-looking trees start to have light snowfall on it. Nowhere near as crazy as Mount Gacus is, but this is definitely kind of a colder region. You're able to survive in it without freezing to death, though, so that's fortunate. As you guys just braved Mount Gacus, your kind of weather immunity has at least increased a bit to be okay in this, but it definitely is a bit more seasonal as you head to Krezik's. Finally, the road branches north and climbs a rocky embankment, ending at a gatehouse built into a 20-foot high wall of stone reinforced with buttresses every 50 feet or so. The walls enclose around what you could only presume to be a settlement on the side of this snow-dusted mountain spur. Beyond the wall, you see the tops of snow-covered pines and thins, white wisps of smoke, and there's a somber toll of a bell that comes from a stone abbey that climbs or clings to the mountainside high above the settlement. The steady chime seems inviting, a welcome change from the deathly silence and the oppressive fog to which you have become accustomed to. It's hard to tell at this distance, but it seems like there's a switchback road clinging to the cliff that leads up to this stone abbey.
Drager will proceed to knock on the. Well, he looked at the group and he'd proceed to go and knock on the guardhouse.
So you come up to like the main gatehouse, and the air grows colder. Obviously, as you start to approach this, the two square towers with peaked roofs flank the stone archway, which has the door in front of it. A pair of 12-foot tall iron-bound wooden doors are sitting in front of you. Carved into the arch above is the name Krezik. The walls.
I do want to point.
Go ahead.
I do want to point out that Kashmir would actually go to Gypsy and get the hand crossbow off of Rion's body, and not the Kodo, but he would actually grab the flute off of the body and maybe a few other like minor items like water skins or whatever's left that could be use.
Absolutely.
Because I
That's fine.
think Dirge has the Wand of Secrets, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Rion, Kashmir, she kind of still isn't quite sure what's going on with them.
They
But,
both say yes.
So, do you have like a long-term plan, I guess, to get your body back? Is that our end game here?
Did I gotta say that I thought so.
Oh, okay.
I heard my voice while I was in the spirit realm for me to come to her. And I believe, now I actually did forget this as the player. Chris, where did she tell me to come? Was it to the Abbey? Or
She said
was it
find her at the Abbey and just follow my
Yep.
voice.
All right. So you need to go to an abbey.
Did I gotta
I
say yes?
believe
The people at the
And-
Abbey have great power.
All right. Perhaps they can
Yeah.
reattach your. And she looks to Kashmir. Your soul into your own body. She looks back at your body, which is half frozen and looks like it has some severe frostbite. Well,
Yeah.
I hope they have
Hopefully
some
they
great
can fix
magic.
that
Not to be that person, but you're looking. What's the nice way to say this? You're looking perhaps a bit darker than I am these days.
A bit of like snow falls off his body still that was like lingering from the avalanche.
Trust me, us in this situation is no picnic either. And that's the way he's saying it isn't necessarily like trying to be mean or sarcastic. He's actually kind of trying to say that in a nice way. Which then like a shock will actually kind of appear on Kashmir's face, like, oh, he can actually say something nice about me.
That's true. And he's like, no offense, but I agree. You got to get out of here. I'm glad that we at least discerned some common ground, but this is terrible to say the least. But I will help you. I'll if there's a way, I'll get you back in your body. And then you hear him think, but there's no chance in hell I'm using the dark power on you. And then he's like, oh, wait, I didn't think that. But anyways, the walls extend from this gatehouse that are 20 feet high. Atop the parapet, you see 4 figures wearing fur hats and clutching spears. They're peeking over the parapet, looking down at you guys nervously.
Drager would yell up. Dragar says we need to see the Abbey. Please let us in.
No visitors. Go away.
We come in peace. We really do.
Drager would just point to the horse with the dead bodies and kind of shrug his shoulders. Dragar says, come on.
Dirge would say, could you perhaps at least allow us entry into your city just to bury our dead or give him some sort of final rest?
Yeah, dead don't stay dead in these parts, lady.
Well, perhaps they could put his soul at rest. Either make sure he never arises, or some
You
other
realize they're gonna
ritual.
burn my corpse, right?
There's a what?
You do realize they're going to try to burn my corpse. Of course, Rion is not vocalizing this. He's saying this to the group.
She just wants to get them in. Basically, she's asking if they can meet like a holy person that can like fix up his corpse.
And do you have a ward? Do you have a place where those who are hurt can go?
She says that we have no priests here. The abbey is long vacated. It's cursed now.
And as he says that,
Well, a place with something warm to eat and sleep would be much desired.
The guards, you hear them like whispering to themselves. Like one's like they seem like friendly. They seem hurt. We should let them in. And then you would hear another whisper. Another whisper, like Dimitri said, absolutely no visitors. only locals. It's too dangerous. The wolves. And then you'd hear another like, but we don't have any wine. Maybe they have wine. And then you hear kind of calling over as they're having this talk amongst themselves. Do you have any wine?
Of course.
Dragar says no. We came from the Wizards of Wine. They won't be producing anymore for a while.
Face palm.
Yeah, they look like absolutely like that sends them into like, what? What does he mean? The Wizards of Wine not producing anymore?
They all happen to die at the hands of Strahd. And as she says that, she says kind of sensing their apprehension. She says, "Perhaps I could prove our goodness to you."
They like actually wallow in sorrow, like they lost their most dearest friend at the mention that the Wizards of Wines has been destroyed. But
Yes.
after a couple minutes of go ahead.
Yes, let us come mourn with you.
After a couple minutes of over exaggerated devastation, they're like sobbing and they're like, how can you prove it?
And as they say that, she kind of presents the sunblade to them, and the blade begins to radiate light. She says, trying to persuade them, she says, "This blade of holy light cannot be wielded by the darkness. Surely any undead that were to face this blade would surely be evaporated."
They kind of like exhale in disbelief and they're just like, that's light. That's sunlight. We haven't seen sunlight ever since I've been born. Maybe they do stand a chance. Maybe they can help. And then another says, but Dimitri, he said absolutely under no circumstances.
We have coin.
And with that, they would say, we'll go get him. And one of the guards will kind of call out to hold on. And after several probably very annoying minutes, you hear another man come up to the parapets and look down. He looks over at you guys. He has long kind of golden hair and a very pronounced jawline and a big like, kind of thick chin. He looks out and he says, "What are your names?"
I am Gaia Abelain, Champion of Pelo, and these are my companions. We got Dutch and we have Drega. We have Cashman. We do not have this guy, Ishmark.
Yeah, Ishmark is. He gone. He says, "My name is Dmitry Krezkov. I am the burgomaster of Krez. I apologize, but we currently are not taking any guests right now. It's too dangerous." And you can tell that he looks extremely stressed out. His eyes are like sunken in to almost the point of like Kashmir's like ghoulish figure right now, but you can just tell that it's from pure exhaustion.
Rion's actually going to start singing, but I'm going to do the song over a rest to help maybe kind of soothe them. And he's not going to sing the whole song, but just like a little short burst of it. And then I'm going to try to do a persuasion and say, if you let me in, I can. Yes, it's. I don't know if he can sing, but I'm through him.
It definitely doesn't sound.
Use the flute.
His voice is definitely a lot more cracky and not as well trained as yours, but you're able to get through it, and you can do a persuasion at advantage.
Okay. But I would also say that if you let us in, I can, or hopefully we can help soothe whatever aches this town on you guys not getting any rest.
He says,
20 just froze.
I don't think there's anything you can do to soothe me, and go ahead and roll.
It's kind of, that didn't do it at advantage, but okay.
13.
Let's roll it again.
Yeah, it roll 20 froze on me, so
22.
22.
He says that nothing can soothe my losses, but he says, I suppose we need help around the city. Yes, let them in. We can't turn away every visitor that Krez gets, so just let them in. And he just looks completely like beaten. Although the Song of Rest kind of at least soothes him a bit. The gates swing open, and what you see is a kind of mist-shrouded village. Beyond the walls is nothing more than a scattering of humble wooden cottages along dirt roads that stretch between stands of snow-dusted pine trees. There's many trees, in fact, as to constitute or enough to constitute a forest. Basically, it's not much of a city as opposed to just like a couple huts built into this forest with walls around it. To the northeast, gray cliffs rise sharply, and the road winds up to an abbey that is easily visible from this vantage. And I'll bring you over to the map of Kresix. This is one of the kind of super blurry ones, so I don't even really know how much help it's going to be, but at least you get to look at the ugly blurry map.
Wow,
So you guys
can't even make up the numbers.
Yeah, so you guys are down in here, and basically the forest is the city is just pretty much woods with a couple dirt paths and little huts kind of built along the side of the road. Dimitri meets you, and you can tell that he's a much shorter man than he appeared to be at the top. He's almost around the height of Dragar, but he's still human and a couple feet taller. He looks to shake each one of your hands and says, "You can rest here, but you say that you face Strahd. I hope you understand that we don't want to draw any unwanted attention. We are not warriors like yourselves."
Dragar says we just need to get to the abbey.
And he says, "Why would you want to go to such a place?"
Dragar has seen a vision, and he has heard many good things.
I fear that your vision might have strayed you, my friend Dragar, was it? The abbey is no longer up and running. It was once run by a priest of the Morning Lord, Saint Markovia, but she was killed and all of her followers also. The abbey has been what we thought vacant for many years. We hear deathly screams and cries every time the bell rings from the city. I fear that it's cursed and that demons now rest up there. There's a man that came to the place a few years ago. He calls himself the Abbot, and he lives up there. He's a very mysterious man. He only comes down once every couple of months at most, and he doesn't talk to anybody. That's the only person living up there, and whatever other horrors.
Dragar says we must seek this hobbit. What the fuck's he called?
The Abbot.
Abbot.
He says, "Well, if you're insistent on it, then very fine. That is fine. Just go ahead."
We could be directed to an inn that we can stay at for the night. That would be most helpful. And
He kind of chuckles to himself and says, "There are no inns here, but you're welcome to stay at my place. I'll have my wife Anna make the accommodations for you to sleep."
that is very kind of you. Thank you.
And this man just looks like beaten. He is visibly distraught. Not beaten physically, but just like on the brink of exhaustion for whatever reason.
The rest.
And he says, "Yes, I suppose we can."
Dragar asks what plagues you, sir. You seem more tired than maybe even us.
And he says, I'm sure you've had your own trials and tribulations, but..." And he sighs and he says, my son, the last of my sons, he just passed away a couple days ago. Ilya, the last of my name."
Dragar offers his sorrow.
And he says, "Thank you. Seems to be the only thing that happens in this place is people die. I had 4 sons just over a year ago. Now I have none. My family has ruled over Kreskov for many centuries. He was the last of my kin. I think that our name might finally die. And he's just like, oh, I'm sorry to bother you. It's not your concern. I'm sure you have your own. It's just, you know. And then he just looks at you all as he looks at like Rion's dead body, and he's like, I'm sure you've all suffered your own losses. And then with that, he starts walking you through the town, and a couple of the things that you would see is the small village, which we already talked about. He would kind of walk you up to around here where his house is, and in the distance you see what looks like a little pool and like kind of like a little collapsed gazebo and a shrine that looks over into like a little small, like maybe man-made pool or something like that. And then he just kind of like walks you into his house. He introduces you to his wife. They both seem like they're getting pretty old in age. You now, closer upon inspection, realize that his golden hair has quite a few streaks of gray in it. His wife has her hair bundled up in this kind of little bandana or whatever, and you can see streaks of gray coming through the bangs of her brown hair also. They're all kind of wearing heavy fur coats. The weather is much chillier here. He would tell his wife to go get you guys some warmer furs, and they would throw some wolf pelts to you guys' direction and say, this is Anna Kreskov, my wife. Anna, would you mind getting our guest a place to stay and some food to eat? And she would go along and do that. As you guys kind of settle in, he would say, so what brings you? Well, I guess I know what brings you, but you all must have a story. Do you care to share it?
I mean, it's a pretty long story. I could give you all the fun. As she says fun, you see her cringe. All the fun parts. We were crushed by an avalanche, attacked by an evil lich, attacked by an evil wizard who was more scary than the lich.
Yeah, I think I would cut in at the point like it wasn't the lich.
We were attacked by a giant tree, and you just see her going on and on, and you notice she's counting on her fingers, and she kind of reaches the end of her second gauntlet.
We once sing a song. That was probably the highlight of the entire time here.
He kind of like
Very happy. Oh, and then Doja, she can tell a great story about the purple room.
he kind of looks as you're telling the story and just like, I guess it's just another day in Barovia. And he kind of just tries to laugh at that, but does so very unenthusiastically. But he says, "Purple worm. I've never heard of such a creature."
And Dirge smiles, and she says, deep underground, there's a creature that's large. No, huge. No, gargantuan. Imagine a worm that's as large as a dragon. No, larger than a dragon. It burrows through solid stone, chewing, eating everything in its path. But should you ever enter its field of vision, make the slightest of steps on the ground. And as she says that, you just see her kind of grin as she lunges at him, playfully grabbing him. It bursts from the ground and eats you whole. Or at least they do where I come from. I don't know if they have purple worms in Barovia.
He puts his arm on your kind of shoulder, or on your shoulder, and he smiles. And he says, I don't think there is such a creature, although it does sound quite horrible.
Well, to be fair, there was this thing called a rock, which is a bird big enough to eat that. But we don't like to talk about that one.
Oh, that was not a fun encounter. Do I got really survived?
Yeah.
He kind of like smiles for a bit, and he says, I think that Ilya, he would have liked to hear that story. Thank you. And then he just kind of goes back to like looking rather sad, but for a moment he cracked a smile.
Yeah, Dirge would kind of sense this, and she would say, I know it's a bit strange to offer some sort of payment. Is there anything we could do to repay your hospitality?
He would say like, you don't have any wine by chance. The city, or my residents, they're basically dying of thirst. They crave the wine so bad. It's what gives them a break.
Perhaps, and she kind of looks to Kashmir, still a bit perplexed by their whole situation. Perhaps we could put on a performance and maybe clear their minds of this dreary sadness. I know it's not the same, but
He would say, we haven't
perhaps-
had entertainment, and he's like, I don't know if we've ever had entertainment. I suppose I can organize something in the town square. Well, it's more of like a town fork in the road, but
From the corner, you'd look over and you'd see Drager slumped over in a chair, and he's. That's
Guy
what
has
Drager.
like moments from the same kind of. Yep.
yep. So you, he says, you guys look tired though. There's no rush. Sleep the night, and maybe tomorrow evening, if you guys have time, I can organize something.
Yes, it would be a bit counterproductive if we woke them up in the middle of the night to give them a fun performance.
Yeah, he's like, I suppose so. I'm sure not everyone's sleeping, but yes, you're right. And with that, he says, I will let you guys rest. If anyone wants to stay awake, my wife will have a stew ready momentarily to fill your bellies. If not, then may you rest up and feel better in the morning. He says that there's a graveyard in his backyard where you can bury your friend if you need to.
Is he going?
The Drager says no better yet. No better yet.
Says of it.
Is he going to go to sleep now? The guy
Dimitri?
that's our host, basically.
No,
Yes.
he'll go kind of like sit on his own and basically let you guys kind of hang out unless you say otherwise.
I would actually kind of try to talk to both him and his wife. Is his wife like kind of in the same situation that he is, like just exhausted kind of deal, or?
Yeah, she probably looks more exhausted. But she's
Okay.
working away at a stew to basically fill anybody's belly who's up. She's just like visibly trying to keep herself distracted.
I'm not sure how much you will let this slide, but I would basically try to convince both of them to just like sit in their living room and sit down for a moment and kind of rest, and I'll take care of the cooking. And this is Rion talking, not Kashmir. And then as they kind of sit down, or if they do, Rion would play the Song of Rest and hopefully, let them relax and actually sleep for probably, the first time in 2-3 days.
Yeah, so you say
And
like,
let them
I'll
rest.
cook or whatnot, and then Kashmir would be like, I don't know how to cook. And then they'd kind of give you like a weird look, like, you don't have to, my wife is, it's okay. You don't have to cook.
Yes, I can cook. And Rion would kind of like talk to himself and be like, you shut up for a second. I know what I'm doing.
He gives like his wife like a cockeyed,
Really?
like, oh fuck, we left the wrong people in our
Yeah.
house. But
Yeah.
give her persuasion if
It's
you
one
want
of
to try
those
to
kind
like,
of moments.
if you want to try to coax them over. It's probably not going to be very hard.
Okay.
They look very exhausted. So
Just be like, no, I'm actually two people in the same body, guys. It's actually perfectly normal.
Yeah, that's not confusing at all.
yeah, they sit down on the couch instantly and just like, all it needs is a bit of salt and it should be fine. So yeah, you're able to go there, and if you play your song of what? Sorry, rest.
Yeah, Song of Rest.
They are-
Basically, what it does is when someone spends a hit dice, you can gain an extra hit die. Or or you can gain extra. You gain, I think it's 1d8
Perfect.
or something
They
like that,
pretty
or an
much like
extra
fall.
1d6.
They fall asleep like in the second chord strum or blow of the flute, I guess, whatever you're playing at the time, and they like instantly are like sleeping a deep sleep, and you're able to finish the stew. You don't even need to make a survival check; it was pretty much done. So all you do is dash a little salt in there, a little bit of pepper, and it's ready to serve for whoever's up. I imagine that Dragar is probably snoring away. Guy is probably
Guys,
yeah. So it's just you and Dirge probably.
Yeah, Dirge would look very tired, but she would still offer to take one of them off his hands.
Well, I'm pretty much awake at this point. Like, I mean, technically we do have two people in one body, so I mean, we could stay up.
Kashmir dips his
I know.
finger.
Kashmir, shut up.
He dips his finger in the stew and is like, "Oh, that's actually pretty good."
Oh, yes, it is.
Dips his
She's
finger
not
in the
bad.
soup again and tastes it again.
Okay, I'm trying to talk. You can taste the food in a minute. So if you want to get some rest, Dirge, it's fine. Like, I can stay up and basically take first watch kind of deal, because I know that fight was quite difficult for everyone.
Yeah, okay. Just yell really loud or do something strange, and I'll be right there. And she goes, kind of lays down on, I don't know, a couch or a cot, and you just kind of see her nodding off.
Rion would say to Kashmir, but he would say it out loud. It's like, two people in one body's not strange enough. Okay. And just kind of go back to the soup.
You guys both like eat the soup alone and essentially have a conversation with yourself. Luckily, everyone's sleeping and can't really hear it. You're just like critiquing the soup, and Kashmir says something like you should have put more peppers in it, and I could have used a bit more of some like onions or whatnot. And you're just like, I think it's fine. And you guys just have this like nice little conversation. Like you're just becoming accustomed to sharing the body.
I would also mention, I thought you can't cook.
And he's like, oh, I
Or
can't cook.
couldn't cook or whatever.
I can't cook, but I can at least taste. And
I can critique and be a negative person.
I give all kind of Yelp reviews all the time.
The number one thing in his Yelp review is bad parking. 0 stars. Great
But-
food, bad parking, 0 stars.
After a while, he would ask if you mind if he tries to doze off, and he's like, stop thinking so loud. I want to sleep. And then with that, you don't really understand what he means, but after a while, he does pass out, and probably the most trippy experience of it all is he starts to dream, and you start to see it. And he dreams of himself being in this dark, dank kind of what looks like catacombs, and you hear the crying of like the weeping of a girl, and him yelling out. Sorry, I slipped the name. I should have known this, but let me find it real quick. Crying out for Patrina. And he's just like, Patrina, where are you? I'm coming. Patrina, just say something. And he's like wandering through these catacombs and like pushing open crypts and whatnot. And then the cries turned into like horrific screams. And then the screams turned into her like yelling, agonizing, like it's just hurting his ears. And she's yelling that you killed me. How could you kill your own sister? And he's like, how could you do this to me? You were my brother. And he's just trying to like apologize and say that he's going to save you. I have a way to save you. I just need to find you. And he's just like yelling, where are you? Where are you? And then finally he pushes open a catacomb, and there's a ghostly specter of a woman standing there. Her hair is like whipping almost uncontrollably in the air, and her face looks very almost lich-like. And she's just like, as soon as he opens the door, he yells out like, Patrina, I'm here. And then the specter like charges at him and just like screams with a hideous ferocity and like slams into him. And then he like wakes up, and you hear him like start to think like, Patrina. And then he realizes that you're still there, and he's just like, oh, I'm sorry. Did that wake you?
I'm gonna I'm gonna kind of add a little bit something to that. I think he would make a little bit of noise, maybe like in his mind, but I think that would scare Rion, and he
Mhm.
would actually make noise out loud.
Mhm.
So it may wake someone else up in the house, but it's not necessarily like a gut wrenching scream kind of deal. So, but
You wake up Anna, and she actually like kind of comes over to you, and she's like, "Did you have a bad dream? I've had many of those lately."
yes, but I'm fine. Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. And I would actually switch the conversation to my head, which is kind of weird to say, but I would answer Kashmir and say, uh, "You didn't wake me. I was already awake, but that was quite a dream."
And he says, "That is what happens every night. That's why I must save her. You see, she's tormented. She needs me to save her."
Well, it sounds like we have our, and I do emphasize we have our work cut out for us.
And he kind of just like spirit nods. You somehow sense that he's nodding, even though, or you actually nod. And Anna's standing there, like, "Did you have a bad dream?" And she's just looking at you. And then all of a sudden, you just like stop talking and kind of just like start nodding. And she's like, "Okay, well, if you need anything, here's an extra blanket. Um, hopefully, you have a better sleep." And she walks away.
I will tell Kashmir if he doesn't mind, I'm gonna try to go to sleep. So, or unless he wants, more sleep, that's fine. But
Yeah, he says, you now sense that he's actually pretty exhausted because every time he tries to sleep, that happens. But he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to sleep anymore. Go ahead."
okay. And then I dream of rainbows and kittens and sunshines, and just to make him day. His no, I'm joking.
Beautiful.
Um,
So yeah, you guys
but
rest the night.
I'm pretty sure.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm pretty sure my dreams aren't gonna be much better, but probably not as dark as what his are.
No,
So
you'd probably just dream of your sister's voice calling for you, but it's much more peaceful and not screaming like a crazy lich. But anyways, you guys have a long rest and you wake up. We're probably going to end pretty soon, but what do you guys do? You want to do something in the city as morning comes?
I would like my body back, but that's
Drager
up
wants to. Drager keeps insisting that either they find the abbot or they go to the abbot. But he will continue with the group no matter where they want to go.
Dirge would either break into song or go to the abbey.
As you guys wake up and they're discussing what you do, a woman bursts through the door, and she seems extremely like desperate or something. And she's like, "Anna, we need you at once. Come quick, to Laura's house. Hurry, it's happening." And then she would like wake up like, "Oh shit, I fell asleep. I can't be sleeping right now." And she would gather her stuff and rush out the door as you guys are discussing what you want to do.
Well, I think we're following them.
Should we see what's going on? I mean, it is kind of none of our business, but
Drager
seems
says
a little distraught.
Well, if this person turns into a brain-eating zombie, I guess it'll be our business. I mean, we all have brains, right? She looks to Gaia and then grins.
Well, technically, no. I'm sharing Kashmir's brain, so I think I'll be fine.
I
Kashmir's
guess.
like kind of giving you, Dirge, the dirty look, but he's actually like trying to look at himself, but he can't. So it's
I'm just to be fair. Should you both? And she kind of tries to figure out how to even word this. If Kashmir dies, I'd rather not share my mind with you.
He makes a joke about, "Are you sure? It could be the three of us just hanging out in there." Kashmir tries to make a joke about it.
I don't know. I have some pretty good locks set up in my brain.
What does Gaia want to do? As this woman calls for Anna desperately, and they both just like take off, running out of the house, like something important's happening.
Oh, she'd want to go investigate. It's kind of like, what? So, Rian getting him back to his body is also very important too. But maybe it'll be along the way. And she'll kind of even mention that to Dragar, like, oh, let's see what's going on here, and maybe on the way we can swing by the Abbey.
So unless anyone doesn't disagree, I'm gonna assume that you walk up after. They're like running down the streets, and they actually head into like the kind of most of the buildings where like the village heart is around here. And a couple of people have gathered outside the streets, and Anna and this woman kind of brush past them, and you guys like, I almost picture like kind of like a fast walk behind them, but not like full out sprinting. You see them go into this house. As the people see you guys coming, they all kind of just like push away, like you're of the utmost importance, but they all look at you kind of like skittishly and not necessarily untrusting, but nervously. And you hear inside the house that they just run into the screaming voice of a woman in probably what sounds like, actually, Rion, you would associate it with what sounds like the voice that you just heard Kashmir dream about. And he's thinking that himself. He's like, geez, that just sounds like my dream. The woman sounds like she's like in agonizing. And then they run inside the house and you just hear these screams.
Is it possible, like, actually, I'm gonna roll to see if Rion would know, because I think I know what it is, but whether my character knows what it is, that's a whole different story. Okay, I don't know. No idea what that noise is.
So what do you guys want to do?
I check too, because I'm pretty sure I know what that is. So what do you want? Is that nature?
You can, yeah, it's you can nature check.
Oh, not one.
There is a demon in that house, Dragar. You probably are not stepping anywhere near it.
It's funny. What about the demon other group? Did they know what's going on?
Gaia and Dirge.
Dirge, describe it one more time. I feel like if they get it and I don't get it, I'm like not paying enough attention. So let me...
The scream of what sounds like a woman being tortured is coming from inside the house. Agonizing screams.
Okay, I can roll a nature check if you want. I don't know. 17 plus 3 is pretty good though.
Yeah, like, it's a demon. She'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah, not a demon, Gaia. It sounds like a woman that is in excruciating amount of distress. Sorry.
You will immediately just start heading up to this place, like.
Dirge, Dirge knows what it is. Now my brain works.
Gaia heads in though.
Yeah, Dirge would head in.
You know, it's just like, come on, guys. Like,
Dragar would stay outside.
Dragar is going nowhere near that. He's absolutely convinced that you guys are going to die to a demon.
Rion.
Yeah,
Rion would go in, but not like he's got like one hand on his hand to draw. He's not sure what the noise is.
So the two paladins go in first, and what they see is a woman laying on a bed with sheets over top of her, and she's screaming in pain as she's soaked in sweat. And the two girls instantly realize that this woman is giving birth.
Oh, snaps. Let's do this, Dirge.
Yep, called it.
Dragar turns around.
Grab the hot
and
water.
leaves.
Get the blankets. Go.
As Rion tries, or Kashmir tries to go in, a woman, like kind of like a nurse or whatever. The word that actually is what they're called is escaping me for some reason.
Nursemaid?
What? Nurse?
It's a midwife.
Midwife. Thank you, midwife.
My last character I played with you was a midwife.
A midwife tells you like, yeah, you probably don't want to see this to Kashmir, but the two girls are welcomed in, and you're instantly like handed like towels, cold, wet towels to help her out and whatnot. And without going into too much horrific detail, after probably close to an hour, a child is born.
Go into detail. Go into detail.
No.
Do it. No, just kidding.
Extremely crazy event. And as the screaming stops, the room completely fills with silence as the baby is taken and kind of wrapped. The mother then after the silence, bursts into tears, and Anna goes to console her and just says, "Laura, it's not your fault. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The baby, sorry, is moving. I guess I should say that. I'm not going to go that dark, but the baby is moving. It's just completely silent."
Dirge would be very perplexed. She, as a paladin of joy, recognizes when people are happy, and this is generally the opposite feeling.
This woman looks devastated, and you would normally associate this kind of devastation with such a tragedy as the baby not being alive, but it seems very much like moving. The room is just completely silent besides the mother's sobs.
Dirge looks at the baby. Does the baby look like it's either undead, or is it like the father? That's strange. You don't
baby
look anything like your dad.
It looks like a completely normal, healthy baby. But it just
I didn't know that your husband was a drow. Oh wait.
It locks eyes with you, Dirge, and just gives you like a blank stare. Anyone that's in, the baby just kind of like looks at you as like a baby, but no curiosity in its mind or brain, like no look of curiosity. It just kind of like is looking around the room.
Can she do like a medicine check or something?
Probably an insight.
An insight? Oh no, is this like a mindless baby?
Gaia can do the same thing too.
Oh no, it's an undead baby. The worst kind of baby.
Dirge, you realize that it is incredibly odd that this baby is not crying, and as you look at it, it just kind of just seems to be just sitting there, not necessarily content, but
okay. So like it's not even mimicking. So like the potential of it being a mute.
It makes noises, but it just is not crying. It doesn't look.
Is it undead? Because she does her ability.
No undead. It is I don't know if you sense it, but it is definitely a human. Although, what are you casting? Divine Sense?
Divine Sense, yeah.
And does it only, what does it sense again?
It senses undead, fiends, and what else was the other option it had?
Yeah, you definitely don't sense any of that. In fact, you don't sense anything coming from the baby at all.
Guy would just be oohing along.
Undead celestial fiend.
This is absolutely beautiful. Such a quiet child. Very unusual.
Dirge kind of.
Anna would like look at you like wide-eyed, and just like as you say that, the girl that just gave birth, Laura, starts to cry even harder, and she just gives you like a finger to the lips, like shh, don't say anything, and she just cries even worse.
As they're crying, Dirge Dirge tries to make the baby cry. Try to make the baby laugh.
Give me a performance.
Tries to make the baby cry. I'm a purple worm. I'm gonna eat you. And you just kind of see her grin and kneel down as she makes funny faces at the baby.
Performance. You give the best performance, or like one of the best performances of your life. This is like the patented make the baby laugh routine that you've done so many times, and not a single child has ever resisted the amazingness of Dirge's performance. But this baby just stares you dead in the eyes and doesn't even crack a smile.
To be fair, the baby was just born. I don't think babies start smiling like well enough for like another week or two.
It's very true.
So, like, kind of just like, you made me smile. You made me smile, Dirge. Don't worry. Maybe we'll learn how to do.
Gaia, I literally turned invisible, and the baby didn't react, and then she covers her face with her hands.
Again, it's just born. Like, they don't really make much reaction. Like, the only really unusual thing is the fact that it's not crying right now.
As you guys are having this conversation, Anna looks like absolutely horrified, and she just like grabs you guys and just like, oh, come on out, everybody, enough of you guys talking, and she tries to like get you out of the room.
What's so wrong?
As she takes you outside.
Is this like a curse?
Everyone looks like hopeful as they're all like anxiously looking to see if the baby was born okay. And then Anna, the father, comes and he's just like, is everything okay? Was the baby, was he is my son okay? And she's like, yeah, he's alive. He was born healthy. And then he just like kind of looks hopefully at her, and then Anna just like shakes her head in disappointment. And then the father looks equally as devastated, and then goes in to comfort his wife. She kind of like swoons you away, and she's like, "You guys must not be from around here. In Barovia, sometimes, more often than not, when a child is born, it can be born completely soulless, an empty vessel, no emotion. It lives and it can think, and it can grow up and it can work. It can have a life, but it will never feel anything. It's just an empty,
I was
moving body."
that Gaia's gonna reflect back to that one barkeep in which Alton met his inevitable fate at.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that one of the soulless beings or some?
You met a soulless person for sure at the original bar Barovia, not in Vallaki.
Is then she just kind of throws it down. She wants to debate. She's like, just because Chad's not correct, what's it? I guess that's very unfortunate.
And she just kind of says like it's more than not crying. It never feels happiness. It never feels love. It never feels. And then she's just like, I know it's really confusing, but
Those are things that can that would be more confirmed as it grows up, as it grows up. But yes, I see where your concern is, and that is, that makes me think of this one. Hey, that guy, remember the barkeep? And I just got caught into it. It's like I think that was one of them, and that is most unusual.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna leave Kashmir for a sec and go to the baby and see if I can possess it.
oh god.
Just not. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I just want to
Gaga
like
boo
read
boo.
the mind to
Uh,
see if it's truly emotionless and like talk to it.
When you go
That
to
sort of
do
thing.
so, it's actually like trying to go back into your own body. You're not able to do it.
Okay. Then I will go back to Kashmir. He's probably like, yes, relief. Shit, he's back.
Yeah, he does like the kind of like wiggle like you just left him. His body just kind of like seizures out for a bit, and then he's just like, oh, freedom. And then a couple seconds later, you just come back, and he's just like, oh, god damn it, you're back. Nonetheless, though, as you guys figure out this news, the town, you can all see as they realize the actual fate of this poor newborn child, all seem even more defeated than they were before. Anna comes out after a while and says that maybe tonight's not a good night to have the festival or the show. This is going to hit a lot of people hard.
Shouldn't it be more of a reason to have it? Because everyone's already depressed. We need to bring some cheer, some life back into these people to give them hope to live again.
She looks at you and says, maybe so, but I fear that hope, life, that's something that is being stripped from these people. I don't know if it will help, but by all means, if you wish to try, we will not stop you. The worst that's going to happen is they continue with their lives being miserable. And with that, the peaceful sound of that bell on top of the abbey tolls. It rings and it absolutely echoes throughout the entire city. You remember hearing it from a distance and it sounding quite warm and welcoming. And it sounds that again. You almost feel like drawn to it. But then after the bell starts to toll a little bit longer, you hear what sounds like a horde of laughing hysterically, screaming in pain, screaming in anger, all these sounds. It sounds like literally like a mass amount of who the hell knows what. I don't even really know how to fully explain it. Just noises, screams, and everything coming from up top of the abbey, and it just completely like fills the entire town, and everyone just kind of looks up at it and like not necessarily like horror. They're used to hearing it. They have this like recognition, or like they realize that this happens quite often. You get the sense, but they just look at it and kind of go on with their day. As you guys are just standing there, you hear this bell and like the screams of what seems like hundreds, and like hysterical laughters of like maniacs and anger, just all these emotions being yelled from the Abbey. Casimir kind of gulps and he's just like, so that's where we're going?
Indeed.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
And that's where we'll end it for tonight. So anyone that stopped by, thanks for watching. Thanks for playing, guys. That was, I know, probably a pretty grueling one, but you made it. So until next week. Peace.